Hei og god kveld. Da ønsker jeg velkommen til denne norske offentlige undervisningen fra Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. I dag er det onsdag den 5. april 2017, og i kveld skal vi ha litt nyheter og undervisning fra den offentlige engelske undervisningen nummer 165 den 30. mars. Var det, ja. 30. mars. Forrige torsdag. Host og budbringer i kveld er Willy Østli, og co-host budbringer Eva Krarup. Og så vil jeg tillegge at kanskje Marie har noe å legge til også. Så da tenker jeg vi bare starter opp.
The Keshe Foundation, an independent, non-profit, non-religious, space-based organization founded by nuclear engineer Mehran Tavakoli Keshe, is introducing to humanity the science of the universe, plasma science. Keshe Foundation develops universal knowledge and space technologies that provide solutions to major global problems, revolutionizing agriculture, health, energy, transportation, materials, and more. The application of plasma science in the form of specially developed plasma reactors and other devices will give humanity the real freedom to travel in deep space. Plasma science exists throughout the whole universe. It is here and it belongs to you. Our knowledge, research, and development regarding the plasma structure has progressed to the point of enabling everyone to participate in the process. Become a creator and understand the work of the universe for the good of humankind on this planet as well as in space. The use of megravs, nanomaterials, GANs, liquid plasma, field plasma, and other plasma technologies have come as a new dawn for humanity to progress and work in harmony with the universe. Conventional technology applications are wasteful, damaging, and cause pollution to the planet and all living beings. Plasma science provides solutions and improves existing methods and use of resources in all aspects that touch the lives of all beings. Plasma is defined by the Foundation as an entire content of fields which accumulate and create matter and is not defined by its physical characteristics like ionization or temperature. Also, with plasma science, we understand how we can convert matter back to the fields. Quoting from Mr. Keshe, MEGRAV stands for magnetic gravitational, which means plasma absorbs or gives. And every plasma has the both. It has give and it has take. And when they can't find the balance, they distance themselves until they find the balance they can give to the others, that they can receive what they want to receive and give further. Certain atoms and molecules release and absorb magnetic or gravitational fields. Released fields are available to be absorbed by other objects. The Keshe Foundation has developed a way to gather these free-flowing fields from the environment within a resourceful and beneficial new state of transitional matter, which M.T. Keshe named GANs. The first step of the process of the formation of various basic types of GANs is nano-coating metals. This is carried out either chemically by etching, steam coating with sodium hydroxide, or thermally by heating, fire coating by gas burner. During either coating process, gaps between outermost layers of atoms are created. The residual coating is often referred to as nano-coating, defined by the structured layers of nanomaterial, which build up during the creation process of the coating. Nano-coated metal in interaction with other various metal plates in a saltwater solution creates MEGRAV fields. These fields then attract available elements to form a specific GANs, which collects and settles at the bottom of the container. This GANs is formed from independent energized molecules like little suns that can be used in various applications.
Welcome everyone to the 165th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, March 30th, 2017. And I think we can hear Mr. Keshe getting ready in the background there, and I'm sure he has the latest information on the Rome event that's going on, as well as I understand the new Keshe Foundation Wikipedia is now been released and is being worked on in a continuous basis from now on, so that'll be interesting as well. Hello, Mr. Keshe, are you ready to go there? Let's switch over to you.
Good morning, good day to you as usual, whenever you listen to these Knowledge Seekers programs. As we have said before, we are here to share knowledge, and in sharing knowledge, we understand more how little we know about the whole world of creation. The more we learn, the more we realize we know nothing. And in so many ways, in the teachings of past 2 days, 3 days here, including the Universal Council meeting and the meeting of yesterday, the first day of the teaching, sitting in the background, I realized how beautifully the knowledge has been transferred. When I listened to the session with Dr. Rodriguez, I said to myself one thing: I've done my job right. Scientists have a start deciphering the message. And when what we saw with Dr. Rodriguez and then the other participants, we realized is not anymore if and where. Now it is a matter of how fast we can transfer the knowledge. Last night till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, the members of the Universal Council downstairs made a decision. And the decision is that they give their support in the tape which was made of the yesterday's whole session, the agriculture teaching, Dr. Rodriguez, and veterinary, will go live on public. It'll take us next 48 hours or so to download, cut it the way it should be, and the public can see what you saw, that how the knowledge of a man devoted to save humanity has changed, in one example, the life of a woman. with a young child. What will be released, what you've seen here, to you could have been just a few minutes of your hours of your life. But as a whole for humanity is a change of course. Because what you will see, it'll be released, is you see a breast cancer, which a lot of people never see. And then you see nothing but just water and some fields giving life back. Our life has started with some fields and some water. Now we have learned how to tap into it to change the course of diseases it's caused us when it comes in interaction with other things. What we will see, as we saw here in the conference by public, please make it vibrant. Put it across the world. Put the video out, take a snapshot of it, and put it down and make it across. What it shows is a cancer condition that is beyond repair up to today. But as members of the council decided last night, we put it out that the others know there is a solution. It doesn't cost $150,000 to $200,000 to go and get a chemotherapy. It doesn't give you certification for 5 to 10 years extension of life. The present chemotherapy, according to Canadian research, if you receive chemotherapy after the age of 55, you're guaranteed 5 to 7 years life at 90% of the cases. So you are given a life sentence. This is a long-term research done by the Canadian scientists, which it says most of the people which receive or who receive the chemotherapy after the age of 55, 60, live between 5 to 7 years, and that's it. But pharmaceuticals don't tell you that. We give you a death sentence. Your imprisonment is 7 years, 5 years. And what they don't tell you is you don't die of cancer, you die of the simplest infections because your immune system is not working anymore. Simple flu, simple cold can bring you death. But because they distance it, they don't follow it up to show it's there, you see a rapid peak, according to Canadian research, in death rate. It's a very good thing for the insurance policies. You've got a cancer, we know we're going to pay you 7 years. With this technology, I've been told I'm making too much noise. So I'm going to check it. Just wait 1 second. It's too much background. There's my collar. Yeah, okay, we do it this way. So what we see is with this technology, there is no after effect because the body accepts it. And as Dr. Rodriguez mentions in this video many times, when you see it, is the emotion of the man who once has the desire to live that allows the change. So you only receive what you desire, you only change according to your emotion. And we've seen in the tape, Dr. Rodriguez explains it very beautifully, that is, with the present technology, with the present chemotherapy and any other kind of cancer, you sort the cancer out, but you don't sort out the root of the cancer, which majority is the emotion of the man itself. Where at the present, we take a tumor out, we bombard it with radiation, we do all sorts of chemical injection to it, but we don't look what created this cancer. What was the cause of it? And as was said, 95% of the cancers are emotionally related. He's a very good student. I have to tell you, our, what we call the mascot is with us today, very politely sitting down. They don't tell you, they don't sort out. They only try to do something with the aftermath of an accident. They don't sort out the accident, which can repeat itself. It's very much like you hit a car in the front, you go and change the damages of the outside the body, but you don't go and repair the brakes which caused the accident. You had no brakes, that's why you hit the car in the front. It's no good to keep on changing the bonnet and everything else when you haven't repaired the brake, because it's the brake that next time will do the same job. With the present science of chemotherapy, with the science of cancer, this is what they do. They keep on repairing the aftermath, but they don't go to the source. With this technology, because we go to the source, which is the emotion, you allow the man to change his position. In so many ways, over years of working in this field, I've seen it many times. The people create their own cancer by misunderstanding their own emotion in respect to the people who had the emotion about. This is the biggest problem. So when you use the plasma technology, and especially use the zinc and the CO2, you elevate the soul of the man, you elevate the emotion, so it gets stronger. Then it can see clearly, in a way, if you look at it from the human point of view. And then he finds out a lot of things which was to him the cause of the cancer never existed. Dr. Rodriguez put it out as we teach normally. The left breast is for the mother and child, the right breast is for the lover. You find out unfaithful father's husband, right cancer, we see. It's very amazing. When I look at people, I know where to look for the emotion. Even when you look at the structure of the cancer in the breast, by the location of the tumor, you can see which lover, which part of the life. I'll teach you later on. When you look at the breast cancer on the left, in the position of the tumor, you know if it's the mother or the child. If you become so educated the way we're becoming, we can tell you if it's a second child, third child, if it's a boy or a girl, the way the tumor positions itself. So when most of the time you sort these things out and you allow them through the process of the drinking and positioning in the maggraph systems, they realize everything they were thinking about was false. And then now they have to repair the false images they made for themselves. My mother beat me up, she was so rough, but it doesn't tell you I used to kick everything out. The dog was, I was kicking and everything else, so mom had to stop me and punish me. But I always looked at, I got punished, but I never looked at, I kicked the dog first. With this technology, you find out it was me who kicked the dog. And then you find out cancer changes. Because you elevate the emotion to the level of the soul to understand, and that's it, you don't need medication. A lot of you have heard people say, oh, I took such a water, I did such a thing, and the cancer disappeared. Doctors in some cases, we got doctors here, they tell you, somebody's got the cancer and after a few weeks or whatever, there is no cancer. Because, I'll tell you why. When you're told you have a cancer, and to all of us as a human race, cancer means death sentence. What do people do? People who are honest with themselves, they go and analyze their life. What went wrong? What have I done good? What have I done bad? What's going to happen to the future of my children? Whatever. And then in that analyzing, they do what we do with the CO2. They touch the point where was the cause of the cancer, misunderstanding, misjudgment. Because when you're on your own, you judge rapidly. I'm always right. Everything else I've been done wrong too. But when you get to the point of judgment, you know you're sitting on the chair, you've got a few months, few years left because of what you're told. You don't look at it that way. You analyze it this way. And the people who are honest and go to the source of understanding, They do exactly what we do. They take the cause of cancer, which is the emotional based, out of it. The body does not create that strength which led to the cancer. Now we understand more and more of the science of cancer. So with what we call the plasma technology, with what you see, is not that the tumor disappears. It is the mother who understands that some of the assumptions she made or was the cause of the cancer was never there. Or she accepted that I have to forgive and forget. And then the cancer goes. But it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. A lot of you looked at the image. We are not showing it because the last time we put it on, places like Facebook and others saw it as a scientific. They put a warning on, over 18. So it'll be placed on the secure server somewhere else so you can see it. A lot of you looked at this cancer picture, the evolution of the cancer from a huge tumor and then reducing and then reducing and then pieces disappearing. And you looked at it as a scientific medical presentation. I didn't look at it that way. I've seen this video so many times that when I show it in Accra with Benjamin next to me, he goes sick. He says, no, Mr. Keshe, don't show it again. But you've seen something very strange which none of you understood. Go back to the space technology which we've been teaching in past 3-4 months. What I say, when you arrive at a point of destination, according to the environment and how you feel you have to survive, you change your physicality. You change the emotion, and you saw how a breast changes physicality. I look at it as a space science. I look at it as a way how man fast. In 3 months you've seen, most of you saw the video, the breast is about hanging about here, and in elevating the soul and the emotion, you've seen the whole body changes, and the tumor goes and the breast goes to a very little tiny thing. 3 months, less than 3 months. Now you have learned how to change yourself in the space of universe. When I told you when you come to environment according to the emotion, you change to fit the emotion to the physicality according to the soul. That's the most prime example of it. Then when I tell you, you're all man of a space, you don't need to go 7 years in the water tank to see how to change a screw. You change your body within seconds. We've seen it. This is what the space technology is about. This is the truth about what about to come to mankind. It's the emotion which has changed something like a 3-kilogram breast, huge in size, to more or less the chest or breast of a man's size if you look at it. It didn't take thousands of years. When you handle the emotion, you have handled the space technology. Now you understand, all of you have the capability to be in the space and don't have the fear, if I'm left in the space, what I'm going to do. You saw in the confirmation of the medical application, the confirmation of what is to come in the space technology and what we've been teaching for a long time. There are those who understood this. Whenever I see this, I go back into a very beautiful Chinese teaching. In the Chinese culture, there is a saying. They say, the pain makes you think, thinking makes you wise, and wisdom makes you rich. It's the same in a space technology. The need to survive makes you to touch your emotion. In touching the emotion, it gives you how you got to survive. And with it, you become wise how to exist in that environment. In so many ways, in what is to be released, and it become one of the flagship pictures and videos of the Keshe Foundation for humanity is how we can extend, retract, create, and then dismantle it ourselves. In that process, if you listen to the video, Dr. Rodriguez, His Excellency, says something very, very simple. He says, the body is rejecting calcium. So now you know how even to make material. Where did the calcium come from that the body is rejecting? So you learn how to produce materials. It's that simple. You learn how to convert matter into energy and back into matter when you don't need it. And you might say, this is very strange. Goes back to the same teaching from the beginning. You remember I told you you're all Chinese and you've all been making GANs in the world. You never knew you're all nano makers. And when you put a salt in it, all you became gas makers. The Chinese been eating and making nanomaterial and GANs for centuries. And then we thought, yes, Keshe Foundation has brought something new. No, we just showed you. If it's strange for you, the way you saw the breast creating itself and then demolishing itself and then going back to normal, if you look inside yourself, all of you have been converters, but you never knew. And if I explain to you in a simple way in 2 seconds, please don't walk out because you still need to learn more. We said you can transfer energy back into matter. We said in the conference here, we saw how Peter showed he can make materials. But look at something very strange. You talk about it, but you don't understand it. Doctors tell us, because they never understood what to tell us, we accept the whole caboodle of what they never understood. You all have been converters of matter to energy, and when you don't change it to the level you wanted, or you change what you needed, and then you don't want the residual, you convert it back to matter again. You do it while you're sitting here. You've done it. This is how you survive. You eat a solid, goes in your stomach, becomes nanomaterial through the acid, the way you do it, through the salt of the body inside the stomach. You convert it into a GANs. It goes your intestine, goes into your body. Whatever is not needed comes back in, and then it comes back in the big intestine, converts energy back to matter, and you pass it out. What's strange about you talking about what you've been created out of? So if you understand the process, now we have to understand the mechanism. You talk about it. You drink water from your mouth, and then you go to the toilet. As we say in English language, you urinate. How did it go from here with all these walls and come out as a water again as a matter state? You take it in as a solid, the stomach converts it to energy, goes wherever it does, whatever it does, and then it converts back from energy into matter state as a liquid. You get rid of it. So the knowledge is there. It's for us to understand which part, what it does. In the teaching, as I explained, it's very simple. In past couple of days, I explained it in a very simple way, and to repeat it is very easy. What you do, what we have ignored and what we don't understand is that our body is one system body. Our body knows, as Dr. Rodriguez explained yesterday, 95% of 4 gases, which makes our amino acid. So to get rid of the gases, it has to have a mechanism for the gas engine. It's like a car. The exhaust has to go out what comes in. because without air, you can't run the engine. So the 95%, which is to do with the gaseous part, is the lung of the man. Then you have the physicality of the man, which is the other 5%, which is the rest of the body, in a way, in a solid state. So is there a problem? Every part of your system works for that specific part or elements of what you use from this planet. The gaseous part deals with the upper body, filtering, cleaning, and taking what it needs. The kidneys are for the liquid part, because we came out of the sea, it has to be done. And the solid part is your digestion system. Then, you understand, you're just a recycling machine. Then, in that process, in case we don't have something left, that in case we might not receive part of the minerals for a few weeks or a few months, the body has made a storage system. We store everything in case we need it. You call it the liver. So now you have a factory with a warehouse. Now you have the cleaning system. Now the only thing is left is how you control all these, that nobody puts too much out and everything is controlled. And at the same time, you have a bunch of painters and decorators and repair people. We call it tissue recycling. Cells of the skin has to be changed. Cells of bone is that. It's literally a factory with a huge number of workers. And all this needs a computer program that everything is done right time. It's no use me cleaning the room when there is nobody in it, or is not used, or putting food on the table when there is nobody to eat it, or cleaning the table while you're sitting trying to eat. Everything needs to be programmed. And the body has made that program a computer center called the brain. So that's all we are. We are programmed and controlled. And as I said many times, despite the present fallacy in science that you only use 5 or 10% of your brain, oh God, the guy haven't got even clue what he's about, what he's talked about. Every single cell of your brain is 24 hours a day from the time of the inception till you die, even after your death, still working. How do you think every cell changes 28 days on its own? How do you know which cell has to change? Which layer has to change? How do you know which cell of the heart has to change at when? As I said in many of the teaching, doesn't matter how old you are across this room. You start from a dog, which is only 3 years old, to those of us who are in 70s and 80s. The oldest part of our body, maximum, is 9 years old. It's our emotion which takes the time limitation, not our physicality. Our emotion says, I'm 50 years old, I'm 60 years old, because I remember what happened to me. But the cell which carried that information, you call it memories, when it happened when you were a child, it's already dead 40 years ago. Every cell of your body replenishes, recycles. So now you come to understand memories, or what we call emotion of the memories, is nothing but fields with no tangibility. It's a music on a CD-ROM where the CD-ROM continuously changes because it plays so much and it gets a scratch, so it has to change. So the cell, when you fell in love 40 years ago, does not even exist. Now go and find the cell, say, why did I fall in love that time? It's just a memory, it's a memory bank, which is left as a noise, as a field. So if you understand this, the strangest thing is, if your brain cell dies, let's say after a year, why do you give yourself a cancer 30 years later for what happened in physicality 30 years before? And the cells which created it don't even exist. Then you understand the emotion of the man is the controller of the physicality. It's the recording. It's very much like you put a CD-ROM in the machine and then you play music which you married to 40 years ago and brings all the memories. But in fact, the wife is long gone. The hotel you got married in burned down and there is no signs of it. But you carry the emotion of the feeling of that time. So if you understand this, we understand the major part of the physicality of the body of the man is emotion of the man in respect to his physicality at the time when the event happens, but it discards, because if he's going to carry the wife and the building with it, soon you become a planet yourself. So we just add up information and we keep. And then when you find out something strange happens, when you put the emotion with what emotion has created with physicality, it needs and creates a much stronger, what you call the soul of the man. And then the soul takes control, which means you go from soul for the emotion to have the physicality. If you look in the inception of one egg and one sperm, there is no bones, there is nothing else there. But there is the emotion of love. It doesn't matter how it's conceived, the emotion of interaction of the two. In that point, then as more cells and cells gather, they create their own fields to have the control. And in controlling between the physicality and emotion, you create a stronger fields which are released. You call it the soul of the man. So for the first time, you understand the soul of the man is the center of the man in the center of his brain, because that's where the control system is. Everything put together. Then you find out the physicality of the man is irrelevant. We saw the breast changing. If you have the desire to be a white man, if you're black, and you know which part strength to produce, you'll be white in a second. Is it strange to you? Look at the chameleons. How do they do it? It's not they produced, they create emotion. Why do you need to change? Danger creates a strength fields, which means protection. All I need to do, I don't need to hide and shrink. I just change my color. So it shows as human beings, we haven't even learned that much about life. Not even as much as a lizard. So you have to understand, we need a lot to learn. But with the process we started, now with the science and scientists will come up with the strength of different things, soon we'll understand the strength of the emotion for change of a color, the change of emotion for creating a huge breast and retracting it, but we'll become very good at it. Instead of waiting 3 months, we'll do it 3 seconds. And then you'll find out you change your arm, your legs in a space. Because there is one point. They say you do not know how you react till you are faced with the position and the condition. Man having the knowledge, knowing that he has to change according to the environment, the first time you shake and shiver, can I do it? Can I go through the mutation? Or can I go through adoption of the environment? And when you do it the first time, it's easy. It's just like when you jump in the water, you swim. If you don't sink and you can float, then you start fishing around. So man has a lot of fishing to do in the cosmos. And then you'll find out some of us will learn very fast which way to go, and some of us will be slow. Then we have the coaches and training, and very much like as I said before, you go to corner shop, what is the emotion to go to Mars? And you go to the other shop, they teach you, train you a few days, how, like you learn the language, what is the emotion in the planet Zeus. When you go there, you don't wait till actually getting there, you know how to create it. I said in one of the teachings, you become the actresses. You see in the actresses, you stand there in front and cry and the tears just runs. So you change the emotion to physicality of the liquid. Now you change understanding of how to change your physicality to survive the environment. You will not be able to do it here so fast because first of all, we are conditioned to environment. Secondly, we have accepted the comfort zone, which is the atmosphere of this planet. So in the process of the technology, now that we create different conditions, we start learning very quickly. You stand outside, says, look, he's in there, he's changed 2 fingers with 4. How does he do that? Because he's in a fish tank. We create the environment for it and we watch. So in the coming time, in working effectively, in understanding the real work of our own physical body, you all have become man of space. Tomorrow, 2 of our scientists, John and Armin, will show you the machinery that brings for the first time, when you are in the environment of it, inside it, you have to change. You have no alternative. These are the spaceships which is getting built and developed and dictates people conditions that is not anymore swimming pool, is the field pools, is the plasma which is created, and then you can adjust each reactor in a way to give you the condition of destination that you have time to adapt before you go. It's very much like flying. If you are frightened of flight, you don't get in. But the beauty with this technology goes back to what we saw with the lady with the cancer. She understood we are not in her brain, in the evolution of the emotion, that where she made a mistake, that she wanted to allow it to be sorted, that it changed the physicality, what we saw the change. Those who will enter these spaceships soon understand if they can go or they can't, because the true color of their emotion to the soul is very much transparent to the system. They cannot convert. When you cannot convert because you know you're there in the wrong reason, the wrong way, it's very easy. You will not be able to go. It's the emotion and the soul of the man which dictates the condition of the traveler space, not the desire of the man, I want to once see planet Zeus. You have to understand the ethos. You have to understand what comes with it. You have to become in a position of knowing you don't take and you don't damage, but you are there to give, and there's no fear of giving, because the more you give, the more you receive. There are no judges and there are no courts. It's you, your emotion, which dictates the decision. I wonder when we make a tunnel, how many will walk through it freely. You have to become detached. You have to understand the process of detachment from the physicality, because when you are physically attached, then you have to feed it, then you have to clothe it, then you have to lie about it, then you have to cheat, then you have to kill to have the energy you want. And this is part of the process of the evolution of the man. Baha'u'llah, blessed his name, is writing. It's the last sentences in the Kitab al-Abbas. The maturity of the man will come when man understands the mutation of elements. It's not that you manage to change gold to silver. It means you can understand the change of your emotion to your soul, that the physicality can manifest itself. When you look at it in a word language, as a matter, you think of gold, silver, and you can change one thing to another. But in reality, the writing of Baha'u'llah's name is the evolution of the essence of the soul of the man, what is emotion. Don't forget, many times we say you have a soul, You have the emotion of the gold. When you hold your hand, it'll be gold. So the mutation doesn't come from the change of element. It comes from understanding the operation of the soul of the man. And this is important. In so many ways, when you look at the life of Christ, bless his name, it's the same. They put him on the cross. They've chained down the physicality, but he walked out of the soul and created another physicality because he understood the full mutation. It's very hard for a lot of people to understand, but if you look at it, it's the same process as you eat food, converts into energy, becomes the calcium cell of your body as a bone, and then when it times comes, the calcium the body takes back, and it goes back and it gets rejected as a matter again. It transmutes 3 times. The matter to energy, become part of your body, and then again as a physical part of your body, then it has to transmute back into the system to go back again to become solid, to be rejected by the body. This is the beauty of life if the man understands the work of the universe. But in so many ways, as we never looked at the reality, fallacy has taken over, and so we added more and more to it. But the video we saw yesterday from Dr. Rodriguez explains the whole cycle of life in the universe. Those who are looking for cure for cancer, it means they haven't seen the reality of the work of the creation. As they say, it's an old saying, it says, what you see in the pot, I see in the clay, and I see in the sand. You don't know what you're going to make, because it's the first time you play with the sand, that if you become a pot. But I know which sand you need to have a pot. It's no use putting water with granules and hoping to make a pot where you know which dust you have to take, that you can moisture it the right way, that it sticks and becomes a pot. In so many ways, it's us who has to understand the process of the creation, not the way it ends up with physicality, but man has to understand that physicality is the point of manifestation of the conformation of the existence of the soul. So you can manifest yourself anywhere in the universe. It just depends if you want to be seen as a 10-legged man on this planet, that you'll be the odd one, they'll put you in the zoo, it's a new animal, or you decide to be the shape of a man that you can work within the comfort and live within the comfort of the life of the planet. That's all it is. There is no change. There is no time to waste to go back and not understand the whole process and then blame everybody else for it. The police of the universe is the emotion of the man. And knowing that it always has to balance with the soul. And if you understand this, you police yourself and nothing can go wrong. And as you understand, in the coming time, when man goes to space, space will teach the man one thing. Stay correct, you live the life of the universe. You take what is not there for you to take, you'll find out the life will be very short. Because you put a spanner in the work and somewhere it cracks. Try when you become the man of a space, one thing. Don't think, I am going to be correct. Believe, I am correct. And you'll live a correct life. The problem is, as I said many times, we have a very bad habit. And I always refer to it, the most beautiful picture with a little young girl, black, sitting with the most beautiful blonde blue eye on the branch of a tree. She says, can I lick you? Do you taste like chocolate? Why do we need to lick, to taste, where we can see the soul? That tasting is the biggest problem for mankind, because what would the animal from planet Zeus will taste like? And that will start the whole rhythm of killing to be able to taste. What about if you ask, can I have the fields of the emotion to know how it interacts with me, that I can manifest myself, my emotion in respect to what you give me? Then you find out you don't need to conceal. This is the biggest problem, and how mankind will pass this point will be the biggest test for man. Would you like to eat something else? Or do we rely on the emotion of it, what it gives us? Pleasure, seeing, do we need the sight? Or do we feel the soul according to the emotion of the entity, that I want you to see me as 16 arms and 20 things because I'm very strange to you, and by you looking at me, you can take a lot of pleasure seeing something funny, so I make that till you're happy. But at the same time, to another one, I'll be human because that way he feels safe that I'm not endangering his life, then he doesn't need to kill me. The process of the conversion of the emotion from the fields received from the soul is the biggest dilemma for the mankind. And many shall fail. And those who fail to understand it will stay the citizens of this planet. There is no examination. It's the man who tests himself according to the strength of his soul and the conversion of the emotion to physicality of the position. You come to understand, doesn't matter how deep you try to say, I'm good, as again Baha'u'llah said last name, we test the gold with fire and we test man with gold. The fire is understanding the condition of the environment, and the gold is knowing if you stay still gold or you evaporate. This is the reality. This is understanding how fast you can convert. Look at the tape. Go back on what is going to go on the internet in the next 2 or 3 days when the webmasters cut it, and then it'll be loaded by our people on the internet. And try to add this part of the teaching to it afterwards, as a voice, as a recording. That not only we show that through the new technology we have found a solution for what is the fear of the man, which causes his own death, but understanding the truth about the conversion in the space technology. So as we say in English, with one bullet, you kill 2 birds. We teach the conversion of the man, the fear of himself, and the second way, we teach the space technology which is to come. I tell you one thing, NASA will shut half of NASA swimming pools. Because now they understand all they need to do is just put some fields around it and make some reactors, and they'll be done. You got to realize in the process of conversion in life to physicality, the strength of the emotion is a filter. So you have to start making filters and the strength of filters. You have to start in so many ways to change one thing. How to create what filters, where, how, and when. You have to start understanding what I call the filter making. As I said many times, we had a couple, a Spanish couple in Valletta. They used to sit in the second, third row, and many times when I said we start teaching about motion of the material, I could see him, he was going like this. He was pressurizing himself that he creates enough field forces that the cup moves, but it wouldn't move. I explained to him a couple of times. He never understood. I said, you have to explain like a magnet. My emotion, that the cup has an emotion. The cup has a soul. I would like you to move, that you give me pleasure of seeing moving. The cup will move. The only thing is, the man never understood that even the glass has a soul. It's made of elements of the plasma that he's made of. All he needs to do is ask for the pleasure. But if the cup decides, if I move, I fall off this chair and I'll break myself, he says, no, not this time. Many people you see moving objects, by looking at it, they have found that secret. The rest is a cover-up. It's very much like when we had the Indian guru came to the Sansano, and they were so proud of him. They hired a huge van. He came, they bent in front of him, and his value was that he could fast so many times, 21 days. And every time he fasted for 21 days, not eating anything, he became more holy. He sat in front of me. I said, I know your trick. He said, what do you mean? I said, you're trying to become more powerful amongst your people because you can fast for 21 days. I can tell you how you do it. And I explained to him. He said, you found my secret. I said, you had no secret. You're a cheater. Because if you learn how to live without the food for 21 days, why are there so many people hungry in India? You should teach it. He understood. He said, our path does not cross. I said, because you're attached to material world to get respect. I don't. I just told you what to do. And I explained to him how he eats. Very simple. If you look at the people who go and on diets, don't eat, don't do that, you don't need to do that kind of thing. Change your breathing system. Because phosphorus, calcium, anything else you need in your physical digestion system is in the air. You breathe it, but because your lung condition in the position of the body has just been adjusted, that you take energy from what you need for your emotional part. When you sit, you see these people, watch them when they go for 20 days, 50 days fasting. Every now and then, they move slightly. They change the breathing system, the rate of it. And by moving, they create, now that you understand how you adjust your magrab system to different strength, they adjust their lungs to absorb calcium, potassium. They can even eat the whole banana without actually touching a banana. Try it. So, if you understood that, you'll find out you don't need to eat an animal. In a space, you adjust what fuels you need to survive, and it's done. Why do you need to end life? And if you like, we publish his name, go and become one of his followers, that he got another 21 days on his book. But I teach you, you can sit in front of him, and you go for 42 days, you become double holy. That's how simple it is. All you need to do, now that we understand the space technology, we understand the work of the plasma, we've seen how Peter produces matter, a state out of the fresh air. You do the same thing. Adjust the fields in your lung, and don't forget, there is one thing. In the space where you breathe, you continuously absorb everything which is in it. It's a sucking machine, it's a vacuum cleaner. So, dust of calcium, dust of gold, which has come from upper atmosphere, which is continuously added to the surface of this planet, comes in it. But it depends how you change your breathing. And if you understand this breathing is for water, you absorb enough water that you don't need to drink. The fallacy that the water in your lung comes from inside the body is totally wrong. We have shown in teaching, the moisture in your lung comes from the interaction of the air inside it, which you breathe in. You change the oxygen and hydrogen in a way that continuously creates moisture. But if you can, now you understand, change the speed, you drink 2 or 3 liters of water, as the energy gets absorbed into the body, you don't need to drink water. Then do the same thing with calcium and anything else. You can put your mind, because it's there in the emotional part of the body, I need all the vitamins for today's motion, and you'll absorb it, because it's part of the desire to receive. Jackie tried once for a few days, but the physicality of the planet took over the emotion of the man. If we stop, we'll see that we don't need to consume. And very strange, do we need to clothe ourselves? I wonder if there are any Armani in the depth of the universe. I will go to planet Zeus to buy an Armani suit. I wonder if ever Armani understands how the suit will look in the depth of the planet Zeus. You have to come up with a new material that it fits the environment. There's no use wearing a dinner jacket suit and going swimming. And there's no use going with a bikini in the North Pole to live. Unless you know it's just something on the top, because you can control the temperature inside. So what we come to, what we understand from the teaching of this conference, maybe is one of the most fundamental part of these conferences, is the video which is going to be released. Not only showing the emotion of the man in conversion, but showing how man can convert himself in any dimension in the space. This is your biggest fear. One of the reasons you stay man of this planet is because you don't know what's on the other side of the hill. And the other side of the hill is called Earth atmosphere. Not many people would dare to go, as I said before, to some space scientists. If we let the man go in space, if his rope cuts, he'll freeze and he dies. No way. They say, the guy said, so many decades ago, this will happen in such a thing. How did he know? I tell you something. Let man get lost in the space and see how he will change and come back and surviving. The fear of survival in a condition of the environment he's moving will change him. He'll survive. But when he comes back, you won't get the same man. You might get the physicality, because now the survival, the emotion of surviving has made a man stronger in knowing that he can do. It's very much like a divers. They know they can go, they go deeper, and they test deeper. We got to learn that our fear of existence here and the way we have attached ourselves to physicality will allow us only live in this planet. Beyond it is impossibility, because we have made this cage, we have made this prison, and we have accepted this prison. And those who could understand the fear of leaving this prison makes us to give anything for it. They have made the churches, the mosques and synagogues and the rest of it. If man knew how to conduct itself, it does not need no Bibles, no Quran, no nothing. Because it carries as part of the ethos of his own soul. And this is the biggest problem. Man will be tested in a space where he carries no books of his own imagination, but he carries the ethos of a space, not to imagine to do anything wrong, but to live the correct life. You'll find out in the coming time, very soon, as I said before, we're getting closer and closer that if you wanted to see the soul of Christ, you will see it. Then it's for you to change it to its physicality which fits you. And then I wonder if you stay Christian, because you'll find out the state of the soul of you has become the state of soul of Christ. As is written in the holy books, the state and the station of the man at this age has reached the level of the prophets of the past. It's the writing above. It's not that you become, but you come to understand the position. Then you understand you're all prophets, because you do exactly what is written in all what you call the holy books to be correct in conduct of the soul and not the physicality. And if you don't carry the emotion of doing wrong, you shall do no wrong.
Ja, mye å tenke på en gang. Jeg tenkte, eller vi tenkte det blir en liten 5 minutters pause her sånn, og så fortsetter vi etterpå. Hvis det noen som har noe dere vil spørre om eller noe sånt, så det bare å åpne mikrofonen og snakke, for de som har mikrofon da. Det blir muligheter til det etter undervisningen også. Ja, da tar vi en 5 minutters pause. Ja. Alle ser du skjermen min, holdt jeg på å si? Ser du Mr. Keshe? Hello?
Ja.
Ok. Ja, men det er bra, for at jeg har ikke helt vent meg til det her med 2 skjermer ennå, så jeg lurte på om jeg skulle vise den ene eller den andre. Nå har jeg fått svar på det. Tusen takk. Ja. Det er ingen som har fått tenkt seg nok til å komme med noen kommentarer, eller? Skal vi vente til slutten?
Hallo, det er Vegard som snakker.
Ja. Hei, Vegard.
Hei, du, jeg er i gang med å bygge min egen maggrav. Veldig godt i gang. Og så har jeg noen spørsmål i forbindelse med hvordan kapasitorene nederst skal stå.
Ja.
Det blir kanskje noe annet, vi kunne ha tatt det senere.
Ja, det kan vi ta etter undervisningen kanskje, hvis du bare holder spørsmålet, så skal vi med glede prøve å svare på det hvis vi kan.
Ja.
Ja, det er veldig bra det. Ja, ellers så ser jeg meldingen av det her, og jeg er i grunnen enig.
Det høres jo veldig likens ut som det de snakker om med åndelig prosess, det med å oppnå opplysning egentlig, at man reiser seg opp over til en ikke-fysisk tilstand og bare er.
Ja, det er jo litt, ja.
Og så er vi i stand til å, når man begynner å kjenne dere feltene og begynner å forstå seg på materialisering og sånt, så er det jo sannsynlig at mennesket i seg selv vil klare å reise hvor de vil hen uten noe teknologi, bare med bevisstheten egentlig.
Ja, det er jo det som er målet. Det er det som er det egentlige målet.
Ja, ikke sant?
Det er det. Men det er så veldig vanskelig. Du vet, sånn som vi mennesker har latt oss dupere og ja, jeg vet ikke hva man skal si. Vi har blitt dupert, og vi har latt oss dupere fordi vi ikke har villet forstå, eller vi er late og synes det er ordentlig at andre tar avgjørelser for oss og sånn. Så gjennom det så har følelsesmønstre, altså det han kaller filtre, de følelsesmessige filtre, ikke sant? Som faktisk begrenser styrken til sjelen, da.
Ja, ikke sant?
Ja, og det er veldig vanskelig for oss mennesker å forstå, fordi vi har jo ikke visst det på lenge. Og det er ikke noen ny viten han kommer med, det er jo gammel viten.
Ja.
Det er bare en ny måte å fortelle det på.
Det er ganske interessant sånn, å bare leke seg med for eksempel å være i for eksempel emosjonell balanse i seg selv.
Ja.
Så kommer man jo naturlig inn i tillit, og ut av tilliten så oppstår tilfredsheten. Og på 1, 2, 3 så har liksom mesteparten av problemer og sånt som man har trodd man har hatt, de har løst seg selv med å bare være. Og her tenker jeg at det også egentlig, selv om det høres lite magisk ut, da, så kan det faktisk være emosjonelle felt som rett og slett løser opp i forskjellige mental tullball da, i den prosessen der også, for det oppleves som en veldig god flyt når man har den, går tilbake til emosjonell balanse når man er i dere oppturene og nedturene av livet da.
Ja, ikke sant? Nå, du skulle bare visst hvor rett du egentlig har i det du sier nå.
Ja.
Jeg har kommet langt. Skal jeg bare si det. Når du forstår hva du egentlig gjør når du gjør det, så er det ikke langt ifra det du snakket om i sted uten maggraven.
Ikke sant?
Og hvis du tenker tilbake på det han snakket om, den koppen, hvor de prøver å lære bort det å faktisk bevege ting da, uten å ta på dem.
Ja.
så du allerede der. Hvis du lærer deg å bruke de emosjonelle feltene, de følelsesmessige feltene, de styrkene som de faktisk har da, i forhold til sjelen, som igjen gir seg uttrykk i hva du viser og hvordan fysikken din de kan du bruke bare gjennom å ønske det og interagere med feltene til for eksempel den koppen han snakker om da. Så kan du få den til å bevege seg, sant? Sånn som disse magikere gjør, for eksempel da.
Ja.
Men de gjør det for å berike seg selv i fysikaliteten, i stedet for å lære andre hvordan de egentlig kan gjøre det da. Men det fordi de har bare forstått en liten del av helheten, ikke sant? Så.
Ja.
Så jeg veldig glad vi brakte det på banen, for det skikkelig fint.
Det var for 10 år siden, så har jeg venninne da, som for 10 år siden var veldig sånn opptatt av den her kjærlighetskrafta og det opplegget der. Og så hun hadde en sånn policy, det høres sikkert veldig merkelig ut, men hun faktisk varaordfører nå i dag. Hun høyt på strå. Og så, for 10 år siden, så hadde hun en gammel golf, og så sa hun det hele tiden, at den golfen, den bare guddommelig kjærlighetskraft, og det mer enn nok drivstoff nede på tanken. Og både en kamerat av meg og en venninne til meg har faktisk sjekket ut teorien hennes, altså de kjente jo godt for 10 år siden, så de hadde vært med oss og kjørt den bilen hele tiden, og de var aldri innom en bensinstasjon og fylt på bensin. Fordi at hun var så overbevist om at den bilen bare var guddommelig kjærlighetskraft.
Det ikke så langt.
Og så slutter jo historien egentlig ganske kjedelig da, med at når hun går i emosjonell minus da, at det skjer ting på en fest som påvirker negativt, og så ble det noe tull med noen venninner og noe sånt. Så slutter jo historien dit hen at den bilen slutta å ha den magiske effekten av at det hele tiden var drivstoff på tanken.
Ja, men det også en forklaring på hvordan det emosjonelle påvirker det fysiske da, ikke sant?
Ja, veldig.
Ja, så, det synes jeg var faktisk en veldig god historie.
Ja.
Det veldig i tråd med det vi forsøker å lære oss her.
Men det hadde jo vært veldig interessant å fått snakket med noen som forstår det der i forhold til med healing og helse.
Det jo akkurat det samme. Det ingen forskjell.
Hva sa du?
Det akkurat det samme, det ingen forskjell.
Ja, men sånn som jeg har diabetes for eksempel, og spiser veldig mye basisk mat og prøver å holde kroppen i balanse, og det funker bra. Og så når jeg gjør healing på kroppen min, så funker det jo, men det funker bare i noen få timer, eller i noen dager. Det holder seg etter varig da, på en måte. Men uansett så funker det jo. Det jo utmerkede bevis, og kroppen går gjennom hele tiden. Healing, det kan jeg oppleve og har opplevd mange ganger. Men det har vært veldig artig å liksom fått til å skjønt det der med det healing-feltet, det lysfeltet som konsekvent regenererer systemet. Fått det erfart mer, kanskje.
Ja, jeg kan si så mye som at jo mer du kommer inn i lærdommen til plasma, til vil si Mr. Keshe da, men som han sier, det ikke han som har oppfunnet dette. Det bare viten som han fører videre, som alltid har vært her. Men jo mer du forstår av det, jo mer vil du skjønne hvordan du selv kan faktisk bli kvitt det. Helt kvitt det, liksom. Og det er muligheter for alle. Du vet, han snakker i førsten av undervisningen her om Dr. Rodrigo og det krefttilfellet med den dama.
Ja.
Med damen med brystkreft.
Ja.
Og vi har sett videoen. Den blir offentliggjort i løpet av kort tid. Skal bare redigeres litt først. Men jeg kan love deg, hun bare behandlet med padder og har vært i en sånn helseunit, maken til Torbjørn sin, men litt annerledes likevel da. Hun har vært i den noen ganger, og så har de brukt padder, og så har han fått plasmavann, og brukt en sånn pusteenhet.
Ja.
Og gjennom det så hun hadde altså, jeg kan love deg, det brystet var så ille der hen, så du kunne nesten ikke se at det var et bryst. Og så svært, så det, ja, det var helt utrolig, og det som han sier, man blir litt dårlig når man ser det. Og når man ser hvordan det har blitt redusert, hva som skjer, hva kroppen frastøter seg, bare gjennom å gå med de paddene i noen timer hver dag, og gjennom å puste i den pusteenheten, forandrer det emosjonelle, følelsesmessige inni seg, som man egentlig ikke seg fysisk bevisst, men som der likevel.
Ja, ikke sant? Og det der vanskelig å håndtere det når man har en kronisk sykdom.
Ja, men så det jo det som lager den kroniske sykdommen. Det jo det som så merkelig, ikke sant? Og jeg skal ikke si noe, for jeg har kroniske sykdommer selv.
Ja, jeg har for så vidt diabetes 1, jo en kronisk sykdom.
Ja, det jo det. Og greia jo den at forklaringene kommer på løpende bånd, og det så logisk, så du kommer til å sparke deg selv på leggen når du skjønner det.
Ja.
Det så logisk og så enkelt. Men vi har ikke fått lov å offentliggjøre den ennå, ellers så skulle vi ha kjørt den i dag, men det på grunn av det at det veldig, ja, det ikke bare artig å se de bildene, for å si det sånn.
Nei, jeg har sett sånne, blant annet så det var jeg har vært kronisk opptatt av healing siden, ja, veldig lenge da, så for mange år siden tilbake så drev jeg og googlet en sånn spesiell healer i Afrika som drev og helbredet kreft da. Og der var det ikke fint å se på en kreftsvulst som har vokset seg stor. Det kan være ganske ekkelt.
Det kan det. Og det nesten verre å se når den har forsvunnet igjen. Fordi det blir jo skader på vevet rundt.
Ja, ikke sant.
Når det blir stort nok.
Ja.
Så, men hun var uhelbredelig og hadde ingen annen utvei, og hun ville gjerne prøve da. Og det viser seg det at hun kan komme tilbake til livet og leve et normalt liv da. Helt uten antydning til å ha spor av sånt i kroppen. Og testene gjort, og de egentlig offentliggjort. Vi har bare ikke fått gå-signalet til å poste det nå.
Ja, ikke sant. Men hvordan lager man egentlig en sånn pad, og hvordan brukes den egentlig?
Ja, du tar bare vann ifra gansene dine, bruker plasmavannet, og putter plasmavannet i en pose. For eksempel en sånn, hva det heter da? Når du vakuumpakker mat for eksempel da. Ziplock-pose, ja, eller sånn vakuumpakkemaskin. Som poser til det. Så lager du bare padder av det.
Ok. Det noe spesiell kombo med hvor mye vann fra hver type gans, eller hvordan
ja, det det.
Mm.
Det det. Men alt dette ligger offentlig på Keshe Foundation sine sider da.
Ok.
Så,
har du linket dit, kanskje?
Ja, jeg tenker Eva har de linkene mye lettere til enn meg, så kanskje hun kan poste dem i chatten.
Ja, jeg skal se om jeg kan få rota dem fram.
Ja, det fint det. til det der plasma førstehjelpsgreiene og litt andre, hvis du kan. Det hadde vært veldig fint. Så kan vi jo snakke litt om det etterpå, hvis det i orden for deg, Vegard.
Ja, helt i orden.
Ja, nydelig. Men da tenker jeg vi fortsetter videoen. Det en god time igjen. Så det veldig mye mer å hente her, og antagelig så kan jeg anbefale å laste den ned fra internett og så se den flere ganger. Sånn som med alle de andre, selvfølgelig.
Og så anbefale å bli student.
Ja, det kan vi også gjøre. Vi kan anbefale å bli student. Vi kan anbefale å bli med på transcriber-teamet, de som faktisk lager tekstene til det her. Nå må jeg bare beklage det at den norske teksten her veldig mangelfull. Fordi den auto-oversatt fra engelsk. Men det jo også derfor vi gjerne vil ha at folk blir med. For det vil øke forståelsen, måten du forstår Mr. Keshe på når han snakker. Den forandrer seg totalt når du sitter og finleser dette finhører og skriver ned hva han sier. Så det helt utrolig hva slags viten du kommer til å få av det.
Nå har jeg postet linken til Keshe Foundation Wiki. Det den nye siden som Keshe Foundation har satt opp, og der ikke så mye akkurat nå, men du finner GANs patches og stoff. Ja. Og den blir jo fylt ut etter hvert som folk deler sin viten der. Så.
Ja, jeg kan vise den siden etterpå når jeg ferdig med filmen, hvis det det. Så det har vært fint det. Ja. Så hvis du har linkene til de, for de ligger på de gamle sidene også, ikke sant?
Ja, jeg skal se etter det.
Fint det. Tusen takk. Så får jeg si tusen takk til Vegard så lenge, så snakker vi litt til etterpå. Snurrer vi mer film, som en Tøflus sa.
Helt i orden.
Takk.
Tomorrow, in the part of the conference, we're giving the whole morning to the newer space reactors. Not when you see the reactors, when it's presented by John and Ahmed, don't look at what is the reactor, how many cores. Look at the fields which these can create, that you can connect to it, allows you to become man of the space. Don't become again back into the position of looking at, we have a spacecraft. The thing is that the spacecraft creates a condition of one position. It's for you to see if I can change into that position, that I can travel in it. Unfortunately, it won't be like the present jetliners. We control the condition. The criminals, the kings, and the priests can all walk in. It's very strange. When you come from Africa, especially you come from Kinshasa usually, you find a lot of priests coming in to Europe. And then you find in the first class a lot of ministers and prime ministers come to Europe too. One is a thief of the soul of the man, and one is a thief of the finances of the man. But they're all carrying the same place. On a flight coming from Kinshasa years ago, I asked this man of rope sitting there trying to read his Bible. I said, why are you going to Europe? He said, there is a shortage of priests in Europe. We can't make finances, so we have to go there and make sure the Vatican gets run. The whites don't become priests anymore because they realize it doesn't pay anymore. And the Vatican and the church is a path of freedom from the miserable life of Africa. Been on many of these trips. I worked in Africa for nearly 30 years. And then you walk into the first class, you sit, and you see the minister. I'm going to sign such and such a contract, and I have half a bag full of diamonds, which has come, nobody knows. I carry it as a ministerial bag. You got to understand the reality is very simple. It's how we choose to steal has given us different position, and we get different disguises. In so many ways, the power of the man, thank you very much. One of the few safe hands you can drink water in Keshe Foundation from. The last time they gave me a cup of soup by Mr. DL, carried cyanide in it. And very strange, there's a picture of me sitting behind a computer. It was supposed to be the last picture before I die, that the books would be published in his name. And then he said, had a heart attack. There are very few safe hands you can rely on, and that's the trust of the soul of the man. In so many ways, you have to understand that the position of the soul of the man, in what it takes, it dictates the physicality of the man. In what you do, you can, and you can extend it to become manifest in 2, 3 places. There it comes. Australia is walking in. Good morning. What is important in this conference, as you see, we have many people from many nationalities and different parts of the world, or part of the world they come from, but they don't want to be connected to because now they're Canadian Americans, but they're originally from Australia, but they came from Slovenia and everything else. But if you look at yourselves in this conference, you are exactly like the breast of the woman. You have mutated to fit the environment you're in and how you feel safe. Black, white, Chinese, whatever you are, you have mutated. So it took you thousands of years to do it. We've shown you a system does it in 3 months. And then if you become expert in it, you can do it in a few seconds. Now that you know the path, it should become very easy. It won't come by CO2, it won't come by zinc oxide, it will not come by gas of God knows what. It comes by the emotion of the man, how you energize that reactor. As long as you don't carry the true essence of, I create this for humanity, not for me to be the first one, you'll never make it. And somebody comes with a pure heart, understanding that the evolution of the time dictates the creation of new space science, then you all walk in it. It is very easy. It is very easy to make a misjudgment and don't understand. When you come to a structure of the space flight, in so many ways, we have explained it yesterday. And maybe as part of the teaching, as we show the video, we'll show another piece to it. It's very much repetition of what we said yesterday, but that was exclusively for you. Now we teach the rest of the world. In so many ways, as we said, the fuel of the universe is deuterium. You cannot work without the deuterium. And the reason for it is, it has the energy balance enough to create, to keep a weaker imposition of the two, but in juggling between the two, it releases its energy, which if you know how to capture that energy, it becomes the fuel of a space. In so many ways, we have to understand how we fuel it. What's the reason behind the fueling? And if you take and understand the work of deuterium, then you understand the CH3, which you've been relying on so heavily for energy, is a carbon, a hydrogen, and a deuterium. But your problem is how to lock up these two, that you can use this for a space technology. We understand, John? Where is Armin? He's going to shoot himself. It's okay. When we explain the release of production of CH3, all of you looked, and you heard it yesterday, Dr. Rodrigo says, you don't use CH3 in cancer cases because it gives energy to the cancer. But the way you created the CH3 from the interaction of nano-coated copper and a galvanized element, which is due to galvanization, carries different properties, as we explained yesterday. In the center is iron, outside is mainly zinc and nickel. So that space allows you to create the CH3. There's a small trick. Peter, are you listening? You should be able to know what I'm talking about. In placing a condition in this chap here, you'll be creating deuterium beyond the imagination of the man when you engage the two to something else. But understand is the plasma. Hands up. You want me to put it under my nose? Do you want me to put it on my nose? So what you get is this piece. As I said before, we are in a fast track to become man of space. So for 2-3 years, you lot have been playing with CH3. I see you lost, John. Is it in your pocket? Tomorrow you will see deuterium in 3 different colors by the hydrogen. Do you have them with you? Where are your little jars? Can we have it? Please. Oh no, you can show it tomorrow. Let them be excited. They're going to see something strange tomorrow. John has brought with him the material which you can use to create the space fuel, but still is at the infancy. He has brought you 3 different, am I correct? 3 different type, 2 different type. He's forgotten the 3rd one. That's good enough because you can fuel it either way you like. And he says, how come there are different color? I have another color. Yes, the White House is calling. I did that with the Vietnamese ambassador in one of the ambassadorial meeting. He was busy going like this. I said, excuse me, Your Excellency, you know, in an official meeting with all the ambassadors in the room, you're not supposed to be using your mobile. Then we found out what it was used for. He was literally lining into White House. We finished the meeting at 10 o'clock in the morning. On 10 o'clock at night after dinner, And 9 o'clock the next day, White House issued a decree against the scientists who know more than the Americans. So I hope you pass the message on well. So what it is, this is what has been with you. I said to you many times, I played so open that because it's so in front of you, you don't see it. It's like a love affair. You never see how much your wife loves you because you're so close, you're blind to it. I brought the fuel in front of you, and you've all been playing with this guy. Nobody stood still. What is all this? Why does it give us everything? Because, have a look. Space fuel. You were happy to be the fuel of the man who was carrying in a backpack hidden the fuel of a space. Come to the front, you don't need to stand up. The front seats are much more expensive. He's going down slowly, slowly. Come and sit at the front. You got to realize that good morning, Italian delegation. Italian always come late. The later they come, the higher love and respect they have. Forget about the French, they turn up for dinner for instant breakfast, which is very important. So what you need to understand is that I have dangled this fuel in front of you, and as you are all so physically attached, you couldn't see there's a deuterium in there. And in many teachings, I said the fuel of the space is deuterium. And all of you have been making it. Very good deuterium is black in color. And I have about 20, 30 liters of it in Ghana. That's why we are flying out of Ghana. And I produce it in CH3 boxes. We produce average about 2 or 3 liters a day. And it's very strange. Richard, are you awake? He set it up. The 3 on the left and the 3 on the right against the window. The 3 on the right, when you left, because I didn't want to show you how to make deuterium, now that I'm only making deuterium. Yeah. You're not allowed back. But what we do, we produce deuterium next to CH3. Sometimes when the boys get it wrong, suddenly becomes CH3. And then it flips back to deuterium. This is why the depth of the space is dark, because of the high saturation of deuterium. This is the reason, because what happens in compression of the balance, the existence of the what we call free plasma of the deuterium creates transparency of its light in respect to its environment. Now you know why the space is so full of energy, but it's dark. But in interaction with another deuterium, it releases enough energy that it stays transparent. So, if you come to Ghana, deuterium fuel for a space, at the moment it stands about $10 million a gram. Anybody want some? We got to finance the space center. And we produce it. And I've told them what they're producing. The scientists in Ghana understand exactly what they're producing. And it's very nice, elusive, black, And it doesn't matter how much you gas wash it, still it stays black and elusive. But it's very luminous. You know it when you see it. If you condition it in a different way with a carbon, you get a slightly creamish color, a slightly yellow color. What are the colors you have, John? Dark blue. Now you know what it is. That's the purest. You see, I don't teach him. He doesn't want to talk. He's got the whole 3 hours tomorrow. We have a double act tomorrow. John and Ahmed, you got to realize both are the heads of the Keshe Foundation Arizona Space Research, which we are setting up and now is going. And John does the physical structures and Ahmed does the imaginary part. You'll see the imaginary part tomorrow, and you've seen the work of John for many times in many presentations. We need the statistic and we need the static systems that we can actually physically understand what's the behavior. The research done in Arizona, the way John does it, is a backbone of a space technology, if you understand. I hope it's not got the CO2 in it. She's not bothered, she's still watering it. Yes, please don't forget to water the plants in front of you, the flowers, and tomorrow when we finish, take your flower home. Because you're not taking a flower home. The flower has taken the knowledge as much as you have. It's alive and it's got a soul. When you touch it, it brings you the knowledge you missed. In so many ways, you all have been in the space business for 3 years, but we didn't tell you. Now is for you to find a way how to change your CH3s into fuel space. You were happy with the fuel for the man. You were going for CH3. CH3 is the original sugar of the backbone of the creation of life on this planet. Without it, life would not have happened. But if you can change it, you can interact with it. If Armand was here, he would have told you he's pushing it, but he doesn't see it. And I never tell him anything. I'll leave it for him because he imagines good. So it gives us a new dimensions in the school of thought of the plasma technology. But he says, you don't tell me everything. And I said, if I tell you everything, you become copycat. Nobody will learn. But if you understand this, if you understood how you created a CH3, and if you understand how this can be created, you're all man of space. The reason for it is very easy. You fuel your spaceship with this, and you fuel man with this. But if you get it right in the reactor, you can do the two at the same time. The reason why you don't see it is very simple. Because in the present matter state, you look at the hydrogen, carbon, hydrogen, hydrogen, and a hydrogen, and a carbon, and a hydrogen, and a carbon, and a hydrogen. In the world of the plasma, you look at this. The hydrogen is here, deuterium is here, and the carbon is here. They're all on the back of the same plasma. Ah, Armand, you missed a lot. Yeah, it says it's okay, it's on the internet. You get the voice, but not the soul. I was giving you a lot of soul. It's there. So, what do you come to understand? In a matter state, they explain to you the fallacy of this. In a plasma state, you work with this. One of the reasons why the world of science has gone so wrong, as I explained many times, is the way they represent a carbon, an H, an H, an H, or whatever they link it. If you look at it in reality, it's like this: a carbon, an H, an H, and an H. Not all of them are positioned the way they want to tell you. If you understand this, then you understand there's a lot of energy which is kept and controlled. There was a very interesting discussion on the dinner table by the man in a beard, if I find it. He was explaining, sitting across Armin with the glasses. He says the hydrogen is at 120 degrees, and if you give it the right energy, it goes in line. Correct? He's sitting there. He's looking at me. He's not talking. Oh, he was explaining it very good in English. He understood part of the game. The other part is that if you can change it from 120 degrees and understand there is a third one 120 degrees, when you bring these two, for this to move in to be balanced, releases a lot of energy. You see, I don't sit in a cafe and just have a dinner. I listen to everybody, because you listen through your ears, I pick up your souls. So I can tell you more. In so many ways, if you understood the work of the plasma, if you create the right condition for CH3 in your reactors, you will have the deuterium. A young chap yesterday came to me and he showed me a diagram with this CH3 inside and there's something else outside. He understood, but he's not sure. In a way, if you look at it, if you can create there is nobody behind the board anymore. If you understand in your space reactors, I keep on telling you, you need double core, Mr. Armin. He has double core. We'll see tomorrow. You call it acidic or alkali. I call it very simple. Yes. You're not supposed to ask questions. It's the teaching time. Yes, yes. You ask. But if you understand, if you create enough of that, you're talking about plasmatic field. You're talking about plasma, you're talking about gas, you're not talking about the molecular structure. Do you see the light? Do you understand it? The board is very, that's the whole secret. The smaller it goes, nobody understands. Okay, I'll go very bigger. Is this good enough for the blind? There is a place called Yes. You need to go to them and say, I need some of these, please. Unless you can see through the eye of your soul, then you don't need the red. So, those of you who've been looking to create deuterium or the property of the deuterium, I gave you everything before. If you put enough of it in and ratio it the right way, and Dr. Rodriguez keeps on telling you 2 to 1, 3 to 1, you link the carbon. In a plasmatic condition, you link the hydrogen. You know, if you don't understand, C goes with C. The O in connection with hydrogen, you know what it does. It takes 2 of it, but it leaves a free H. But if you have enough free H's here, you got your deuterium. Then, if you understand it, go back to the work which was done with the time of teaching, how you change alkaline with acidic. If you know there is a secret in the whole process, that this chap without doing anything, the guy behind me understood, but is not doing it, and I'm waiting for him to do it. Armin, you keep the carbon link. You create a condition where big bunch of these behave like this inside this part. Now you don't need to change matter. Now you create deuterium here more than here. We put current in it. You understand? Now you know. So it's your problem. I fly in Ghana, Arizona has to fly too. So what you see, you don't look at it in a matter state. Look at it in a plasmatic state. If you don't have a carbon connection strength, you have a problem. But in a space, you don't need it. But this is at least an interim that you can just take off a little bit. Be happy, at least we don't wait for 3 years for doing nothing. Oh my God. There's another millions in China doing it. So they didn't see it. That's their problem when you don't see. Yes. Good morning, doctor. I told you, the Italians come as late as possible. They're usually the last people in all the conferences I'm teaching. So now you understand, you keep the link, because here on this planet, you forgot about something. In all these, you have your H2O2 both sides. Now you go like this, oh God, what did I do? It's okay, you fly tomorrow. No problem, we have it. So you got to understand, if you go a step further, and understand the whole process, God bless the soul of the man if he understands what I'm about to write. Now we'll do it here with different color. There is a very big question. If you look in a matter state, If you look in a plasma state, you're too late. You already done that. Just about 10 minutes before you go, you went for a smoke, you smoked everything up. Now you understand what's going on. If you don't see it, big enough, go back on the teaching of Dr. Rodriguez yesterday. Understand you're dealing with the plasma. Understand what is carbon. Understand what's oxygen. Understand multiple of the plasmas can give effect of the same. Understand that you can have deuterium at any time. One coffee. Understand that you're dealing in a plasma state, not in a matter state. If you get and understood what Dr. Rodriguez told you by the ratio of filling up your bags, the water which you carry in your CH3, but the ratio of understanding it will give you deuterium here or deuterium here, according to the current you put through the transformation. You've seen the work, but you never understood. You talk about the amino acid of the man. Sorry. But you don't see the conversion of the numbers. If you get the right conversion, this stays neutral, then you can convert carbon to behave like oxygen. And in a teaching of up to now, I taught you something very, very simple, but maybe you understand. Iron is what they call the magnets, creating positioning on Earth. In the gaseous part is the oxygen, which plays the game. In the deep space is the carbon, or what we call crystal structure of carbon behavior. Now you have more or less the three magnets of the universe. There are more to understand. Good morning. Armand says thank you. Lawyer of mine in Manchester says don't thank me, pay me. So fly. Now you understand more and more about the riddle of the work. If you get your ratio right, You lock this to this. And then you decide how much of this will come to work with this and allows this to behave as a deuterium, or how much of this is going to lock with the water with this one, then this becomes a gravitational point. All you do, you change your gravitational from the center to the magnetical outside and return it back again. This is what your body does. You change the solid, converts it to energy, back again to solid, and you reject it. Doesn't do anything else. And all of it is done. 95% of the body of man is made of. If 95% of the body of the man is this, and we know by mass about 70–75% of the body of the man is made of this, how much of which is going where? The riddle is solved if you understand it. Then what is very strange for you is something very interesting. In creating gravitational magnetic field within the mass structure of the gases of this planet, and if you understood this and you understood this, are you wondering why you're walking upright? You've already been in a space, but you haven't managed to lift it a little bit higher. If you look at the structure of the plants, they work through this structure, but they use a slightly different way in a different structure of the using the matter state, how much they're going to be attached to the earth, the physical part. Have you ever seen greens flying in the air and you can grab it? Very difficult, huh? So now you understand even why you're walking upright. This will be very hard to translate the emotion of a doctor under in the transcripts. So if you understood, the body of the man in essence carries not the hydrogen, but the hydrogen behaving as deuterium. You should have flown 2 years ago. Yes. Now it's better. Okay. If you understand this position by manipulation of the oxygen in the water of the body of the man, you get the ratio. This is why your lymph needs a different chamber in the heart and your blood, and the immune system use different chamber of the blood. If you understood that, if you remember in the teaching of the medical part, we explained that each chamber has a pressure for immune system, for the lymph system, for the other one, and the other one. But collectively, when they work in the energy of the emotion. If you look at it in the essence of the creation of the physicality of the man, the heart, each chamber is tuned to the strength of one of the 4 elements of the amino acid, which is the blood of the man. And in their interaction, what you receive, because now it's the matter state of the plasma, the field strength becomes emotion. That is why when you fall in love, the heart goes. What's got to do with the heart? Because the field flow, the amount of the matter change conversion touches the emotion of the man, then you go crazy. This is emotion, and this is the emotion of the physicality. And then you have a brain, which is the emotion of the upper part. When this ghost hits there, voila, the 2 emotion interaction feeds the soul of the man. And if it's too hard, you fall in love. And this is one of the reasons why they say scientifically the love doesn't stand more than 3 to 5 years. You fall out of love. And that's why even the writing of the prophets, they say, I made you to make children that they may love me, that they mention my name, and by mentioning my name they give me his writing of Baha'u'llah's name. And then you understand that the emotion changes. Because now you were in Chicago breathing different kind of oxygen. Now you move to New York or London or Rome, it's different kind of oxygen. So the strength of the emotion, what was love, now it becomes hate. It calls in a mistress because you have to confirm you still exist. It is. Me too. And then it'll be very strange. Why do the people come to Rome, the city of romance? Because the gravitational magnetic field of this part of the planet, by accident, falls near enough to the emotion of love. Because it's not just us. Earth has inertial fields and it has a gravitational field. The filter is, this is the source, is the soil of this country, happen to be around Italy. A lot of water swimming underneath continues, so it allows us to fall in and love. You become Italian man, very romantic. Just happen to be at the strength of the emotion of the love. So if the Italian can produce a machine to measure the strength field of the earth around this area, we have found the first secret, how to be romantic. Romance has its own strength field, like hate, love, and everything else. So it gives you a dimension. Now, if you understood this, when the physical pressure does not match the emotional pressure, the emotional release feeds the energy, which the emotional part of the soul, which is the part of the upper part of the body, which is the gaseous part, cannot handle it. It releases its energy, and you call it a brain hemorrhage. And depending on a position of the heart in the chest, you'll find out most of the damages come to this side, because the heart is a bit to the left. In a way, it doesn't go up straight, it hits this part and it blows itself up. It's a volcano. The heart attack you get, the brain hemorrhage you get, comes from the energy released on the left side. If you do some research, which I've done, you'll find out the position of the heart in respect to the shape of the brain will dictate how much of which one. If it's very, very fully lefted, complete this, you see huge paralysis on the left side. If the brain position in respect to the heart is more to the center, you see some damages on the right side too. depends if the emotion comes from not being able to talk, not being able to declare what you feel emotionally, you get the paralysis on the lips and the talking. Then now we understand. When you handle a stroke patient or brain hemorrhage, find out which part of the emotion has been touched. And then find what you call in the matter state, the strength of its frequency. And you feed it with that GANs, you'll find out they walk off. So, in so many ways, goes back to our friend, the level of deuterium. Any questions? Don't ask me for the soul from Rome. We can go and get it outside. I think Rick is still asleep. Hello.
Oh, no, I'm here.
We're there.
I am here. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And once again, I'll remind our viewers here in the Zoom chat that they can put their hand up and become a panelist to speak. Now,
yes.
May I ask a question, please?
Yes. She's the General Secretary of the Universal Council. She can ask any questions. But it doesn't mean we're going to answer it. And as her husband always says, it used to be Mr. Blah, blah, and Mrs. So-and-so. Now it's Mrs. So-and-so and Mr. Blah, blah. We call her Mrs. Westinghouse from her old position.
When you were talking earlier about to change the oxygen level is what's going to change the energy we get from CH3 to come out into the deuterium, I believe is how this went. I was thinking, and then you went to the heart, but originally I was thinking, is this controlled more by the breathing of the lung? Since we're working with the oxygen level?
Yes, but you have to remember one thing, how you control your breathing through your emotion.
But but is it through the, okay, here's where I guess I'm getting confused. Is it through the working of the lung itself, or is it more through the putting of the energy of the oxygen through the heart?
You got to remember one thing. Look at the physical structure of the man. Why the heart is positioned inside the lung. Go back in the teaching. Even Dr. Rodriguez from previous teaching we done, he repeated it yesterday, that we say the body of the man absorbs 80% of its energy from its environment and 20% of it by eating. Now, if you understood, it should be very easy for you to understand the next space of the understanding. They're putting too many pens here and I can't change. Don't forget, I'm a man. I'm not multitask, so I can't do too many things. Repeating what was just said, if you understood, this is the body of the man. I hope I've never been a good drawer. It's a bit lopsided. I think it's got something called the leg too. If the man takes 80% of his energy from his environment, which is totally loose, now you understand the fallacy of the science of the man. The heart of the man sits within the structure of the lung of the man. As we say in English, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. If you are absorbing 80% of the energy from the environment around you, Now you understand the conversion of the energy which is given to the blood to come to the heart. It can't be more than 20%. The heart gets most of its energy directly from the conversion from the lung. Then you understand you don't need that much working for the heart to let it rest. So the heart itself, to energize the blood, the way it comes in, it doesn't get energized by transfer of energy just as it goes through the heart. Because the energy received by the heart from the lung is 80% of it. And then, if you understood this, you understand how the Indian guru was feeding himself. The way you change the position of the lung, you change the energy, and through it, you feed the emotion. You reduce the consumption of the energy in the physical part, because now you're transferring plasma to plasma. You're not transferring matter to the direction of the plasma. So the energy transfer is so fast, but because it goes through the wall of the body of the man, through the heart, the same. Now you can control emotion very rapidly with it, the control of the heart. Is the emotion in energy transfer which creates the condition of the heartbeat and not the other way around. You feel safe in respect to the environment, 60 over whatever is good, or 90 over whatever is good, or 12 over whatever is good. What you do in high blood pressures, now we use in cancers. All you do, you change the environment within the body, the field transfer, and then in turn affects the blood pressure. Because you work through the energy of the plasma, you don't work through the energy of the matter state of the blood. You touch the emotion. When we use CO2 and zinc oxide, we elevate the emotion of the man, which affects directly through the emotion of the physicality, through the heart, to the brain of the man, and the emotion conversion of the energy from the soul. I asked Giovanni one day to bring an MRI. It's very coincidental. I open an MRI of Naomi, and I can show you the position of the soul of Naomi. It's there. You see it. This is what I told to Giovanni. If the doctors manage to do the correct way of taking MRI in the right slices, you find the position of your own soul. And the smaller it is, the more powerful it is. You don't look for a huge space. That's a habit of the man. You look for a very small dot. It's black because it's hollow. Sits just in the center of the brain of the man. When I showed it to Giovanni, then you don't work to touch the physicality. You touch the soul because you know where you diverted. And to me it's easy because I know the position. We did that with Naomi the last day she was getting moved in the hospital. You reach the soul and she moved the physicality. Correct? We don't do magic. We understand the totality. And many of the doctors, many of the physicians, if I understand this, when a patient stands in front of you, you don't prescribe paracetamol, this and that. You're there to give from your soul, not from your pen. You give to the soul, and the body shall move. This is what Christ did when there was a body on the floor. Resurrection comes from the elevation of the soul of the man. Then the physicality follows. And man has not understood that yet. Any other question? Yes. Just 1 second, please. I have to give you a mic. We have one other person listening on the internet somewhere.
I want to go back a bit. Usual as the
Can you?
Ja, vet ikke hva dere syns. Vi må nesten avslutte der.
Jeg synes det er veldig interessant da.
Ja, det er så mye informasjon, så det er helt utrolig. Veldig god informasjon. Og mye relatert til spørsmålene til Vegard også.
Det er Mr. Keshe store øjeblik, som han har gemt til den her lejlighed, tror jeg. Han har lavet armen vente i 2 år.
Jeg kan si at Mr. Keshe har mange store øyeblikk til i vente for oss.
Jeg tror han ryster et par stykker mer ut av armen snart.
Ja, men altså, armen var jo i dag på reaktormødet.
Ja.
Og der kom han lige præcis med det, som Mr. Keshe havde givet ham her.
Ja, ikke sant.
Den der dualitet af carbon.
Ja.
Og det var i hvert fald noget, der var gået meget ind på lystavlen.
Ja, jeg tror det. Det var velkommen til reaktorgruppa også, sikkert.
Hvad siger du, at?
Det var sikkert velkommen til reaktorgruppa også.
Ja, men altså.
Det var mange som fik.
Armen er noget for sig selv. Og desværre så sad sengen fast på ryggen af mig her i morges, så jeg kom først 40 minutter ind i, eller sådan et eller andet den retning. Og ja, men så fik jeg altså også glæde af det, inden han gik. Jeg tror, han var lidt træt, så han forlod os igen på et tidspunkt, men det var meget, altså det har været en fantastisk dag for mig i dag. Simpelthen.
Så bra.
Hvad siger du?
Ja, så bra, siger jeg.
Ja.
Jeg vet ikke om dere har lagt mærke til, vi har en ekstra gjest her i kveld da.
Og hvem er det?
Stikke innom. Peter har stikket innom en liten tur.
Han er her allerede.
Ja, Peter er innom en liten tur, sier jeg. Så
ja.
Skal bare si welcome, Peter, to our little Norwegian group.
God kveld.
Thank you, Peter. I didn't know you speak Norwegian.
I didn't either. I just looked in the dictionary a little bit.
Done your homework.
Yes.
Yeah.
God kveld til deg også.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. You know, just very good information I got today in the agriculture teaching, how to make the CO guns we have seen in the conference, you know?
Yeah.
Only CO, not CO2, CO. And we already had it, but we didn't know and we didn't look and we didn't go to it. So you just need to have a current through going through your nanocoat, your plated. It's a plated iron with zinc plated iron and nano-coated copper, and you just give a current through, and then you get the black stuff. That is so amazing. That's the secret. I just heard it today in the teaching.
Thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah, maybe you can pass it to all the others, and you can produce now the full of the space.
I think all the students here understand the English language spoken in some ways. So I think they already got it, and we will spread it to everyone. And I'm going to just say it in Norwegian.
Yes.
So in case there's someone who doesn't understand. Det Peter som akkurat forteller oss hvordan man lager CO-gans, da, eller de svarte. Og det eneste du trenger å gjøre når du lager CO3 med galvanisert plate og nanokåt av kobber, å sette en svak strøm gjennom når du produserer det, så får du CO-gans. Så det temmelig enkelt. Han sier vi har alle gjort det, vi har bare ikke visst hva vi har gjort.
Ok, det derfor jeg kastet ut det svarte som ble hos meg, da, for jeg gjorde det på den måten.
Ja, ikke sant, Geir? Hæ?
Det du sa nå da, det var at når du har en nanokåta kobberplate og den jernplata.
Galvanisert jernplate,
ja. For jeg fikk noe svart I den gansen der, faktisk.
Ja, ikke sant? Ja. Så Mr. Keshe sa jo det I videoen også, at dere har jo alle produsert det. Dere har bare ikke sett det.
Ja.
This is nice to hear, Peter. We already have a couple of students who have made it.
Yes. You know what I always feel, what the people didn't understand is how we create the guns. Yeah. In the moment we have a nano-coated copper plate, we are in the plasmatic condition, and this is the big difference to any other thing. So it's a plasmatic condition, and you have the fields, and the fields create the guns and nothing else.
Exactly, Peter. And that is one of the, as I told previously in Danish, is that today has been a fantastic day for me. A lot of things had fallen into place, and among other things, I have expanded my understanding of the teachings Friday, where Brett showed his setup to make GANs fast. Armin, he said today in the reactor group that this is the most pure form of GANs if you use the setup from Brett to make GANs just in a little glass of salt water with a metal plate in it, and you can even put the metal plate in a vacuum bag and vacuum it so the plastic is very close to the metal, and put it in the glass, and you will get a very clean GANs, and you can use copper and zinc and iron to make the GANSes. And it is created just with the fields around the metal plate, and this is the most pure and the most strong version of the GANSes.
Yes. And did you also already speak about the guns of the guns that we can make now?
Yeah, you probably could have a bag in the glass with some GANSes and give them, expose them to the plasma field and make a GANs of the GANSes.
Yeah. Eva and I had discussed the GANs of GANSes because we thought we might produce deuterium by making GANs of GANSes with the CH3 and the CO2. But I don't know. Maybe
anyways, if you make GANs of GANSes, you will get more stronger GANSes. So if you already have the Cu, well, a CO, and you make GANSes of that again, you have stronger CO GANSes. So, yeah.
Yes, it's magnitude stronger than the normal guns.
100 times, he said.
100 times. That's 2 magnitudes.
Jeg har satt ut YouTube-linken til reaktorgruppa I chatten, så hvis noen vil se på det som har gjort Erik så glad I dag, så den der. And for Peter, the link in the chat is for the reactor group from today, where Armin has visited them. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you. You know, Armin, he is really the most knowledgeable of all of us, but he do not speak so much. So it's very difficult to get infos from him. But in the today's agriculture teaching, Gatwa, he could trigger him, and he said to him, "Oh, don't go to sleep now. It's too early. You have to give us more tips. And the more you give, the more you receive." And then he stood a little longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have a question for you, Peter, because I didn't understand. You say the black stuff is CO?
CO, yes. And it has the most energy. We have seen in the conference in Rome, they had this how you call it, this Geising rods, and they tested it, and the black stuff was much stronger than the red and the whitish. And yes, it's maybe from this. Yes, if you have this CO, then you put it in a double reactor. So the inner is the CH3 and the outer is CO. And there is always the water with them. And the water is HH2, HHO. And so with the water, they lock in to each other and they will produce the deuterium outside and inside the reactor.
Oh.
So therefrom comes the deuterium. But you need the CO, not the CO2.
Ah, that's great. Thank you. Thank you. Then my understanding is even more.
Yeah, we will come to the point, you know, if we all work together as one family, as one nation, we will come to the point.
Yeah, and that's the key, you know, the togetherness.
One question, what can you use this deuterium like CO GANS to? What can you use it for?
Space flight.
Yes.
Are we talking physical space flight or like a kind of a spiritual thing, or?
Physical.
It depends on what kind of release you get, but this is the physical flight, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
it's the fuel. Yeah, it's the fuel for space.
Yes, and the point is still now our soul run behind our bodies, and we have to change this, that our body runs behind our soul, so follows the soul and not the soul follows the body. And if you link up with your spaceship, with your soul, then you can even fly physically.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a present for you, Vegard.
Ja.
Da ser du, vet du. Du ønsket deg et svar på noe, og så dukker bare Peter opp.
Ja. Fantastisk.
Ja, det. Vegard wished for an answer on this question, you know, earlier in this teaching.
Ah, yes.
And then you just pop in and here you go. It's so great.
It's great. But I will not stay too long because I have to do some transcribing till tomorrow.
Yeah, me too, you know.
But I don't want to disrupt you in your teaching. But I just wanted to say hello, Norway, and I love you, and we are all one.
Yeah, and we love you.
We love you.
We love you too, Peter.
We love you too.
I'm so grateful that you are just that you are, and the one you choose to show yourself as, you know.
It's with all of us the same.
Thank you. So
bye together.
Bye.
Bye.
Ja, folkens. Det var jo hyggelig.
Yep.
Han så koselig, vet du.
Ja.
Men det var nyttig informasjon.
Ja, kommer som plasmatisk akkurat på direkten når de trenger det.
Ja.
Så kanskje du skulle forklare hva han sa på norsk, bare for dem som kanskje ikke så stive i engelsk som ser dette etterpå.
Ja, jeg må forlate møtet.
Ok.
Nei.
Ok, ha det da.
Forlat oss i stikka, du.
Ja, ha det, Marie.
Ja. Hvordan skal jeg få sagt det på norsk da? Jeg må jo huske det alt sammen da. Kanskje du kan si det på norsk?
Nei, egentlig ikke, for jeg rotet etter en link imens, ja. Så, men ellers så kan vi jo være så hyggelig at vi oversetter den biten da, når den kommer ut. Lager en liten...
Norsk tekst på den, ja.
Norsk tekst på den.
Ja. Det kan jeg gjøre, vet du. Ellers så kan jo dragen din gjøre det. Nei, det kan den ikke, nei.
Han snakker jo ikke norsk, han snakker bare engelsk.
Ja, det det.
Ja, vi setter tekst på den der, for det var veldig hyggelig også.
Ja, og det en kort bit, så...
Men Maria, hun skrev jo i chatten konklusionen med, hvad vi gør i reaktoren. Prøv at kigge det aller sidste i chatten.
Ja.
Ja. Det jo det Mr. Keshe akkurat har gått gjennom nå, så...
Ja, ja. Ja, det jo det.
Og lage gans og gans, jeg vet ikke, det noen som vil vite hvordan man gjør det?
Ble det stille?
Nok i vei.
Ja, det jeg ville gøre, det var, at jeg ville lave det setup, som Brett viste os i fredags. Og så vil jeg sætte... nej, det kan jeg ikke. Jeg skal gøre det. Jeg skal jo bruge den strømhistorie for at gøre det. Så jeg vil altså tage en nanocoated coverplade, og så vil jeg tage noget galvaniseret jern, og så vil jeg køre en strøm igennem det, og så får jeg det sort gans.
Ja, men nå snakker vi om en annen prosess. Nå snakker vi om å produsere gansen av gans.
Ja, men jeg er jo først nødt til at have den der gans for at få den kraftige bagefter.
Ja, men...
Bagefter vil jeg bruge den plasmatiske generering af det der sorte CO-gans, for at tage gansen af gansen.
Ja, men det ikke det vi snakker om nå. Nå snakker vi om å lage, hvis du har for eksempel kobbergans da. Du vil lage gansen av det, for å få en høyere effekt kobbergans, for eksempel da.
Ok, jeg tiger stille.
Eller CO3, eller matgans, eller hvilken som helst gans.
Ja, så det man så gjør da, det at man lager selvfølgelig den blå boksen, det selve hovedboksen. Og den fyller man jo så saltvann i. Så lager man en boks her, og der har du CO2 i. CO2 liksom en slags kopimaskin. I denne boksen her, da putter du den gansen i som du vil lage gansa, da. Så hvis vi sier at du putter CO3 i den, eksempel. Det veldig vanskelig å tegne med sånn mus også.
Jeg synes du flink, jeg. Det ser bedre ut enn mine tegninger i hvert fall.
Og den svarte greia som kommer opp av, du lager jo også en lukket beholder, eller har den over overflaten her da, selvfølgelig, ikke sant? Nedi der da putter du en nanokota kobberledning. Og det gjør du også ned i CO2-beholderen din. Og det gans som vi snakker om det i disse to da. Og her imellom da har du en kondensator. Så det du vil få her nede i bånden da, det gans av det du vil ha, det du har i denne beholderen. som enda sterkere. De snakker om 100 ganger sterkere enn originalgrensene som du bruker å kopiere. Så sånn gjør man det.
Så har dere litt hvis man...
Ja, unnskyld.
Nei, bare fortsett å øve.
Min personlige ting. Ja, så skal du selvfølgelig, det skal man huske, denne boksen her, den store boksen, skal være nano-kota innvendig. De små boksene skal være nano-kota innvendig og utvendig. Ikke sant? Min personlige greie til å lage dette oppsettet, da vil jeg bruke sånne vakuumpakker som man bruker til å vakuumpakke mat i og sånn. Da vil jeg lage poser til å ha gansene inni det store badet da. Fordi at de kan holde til rimelig mye varme, så det er ikke noe problem å nano-kåte dem i dampbad, for det har jeg gjort, og det virker ganske greit. Og man kan lukke dem ganske tett da, så du ikke behøver å ha en åpen boks, 2 åpne bokser i en annen boks og sånne ting. Så.
Har du forsøkt å sveise de med vakuumpakkemaskinen når de er nano-kåta?
Ja, man må bare vaske dem i toppen. Ikke vaske dem da, men jeg bruker bare en sånn der vatt ørepinn, og så bare, hva heter det, tørker rimelig godt her oppe i toppen.
Okay.
Og så sveiser jeg dem, og så 4-5 ganger da. Så jeg er helt sikker på at selv om det er et lite hull, så...
Har du forsøkt å sveise dem med tråden i, eller?
Ja, det har jeg faktisk gjort, og det virker ganske greit.
Ja, så bra. Det kan du se.
Og så lager man, når man har sveiset dem flere ganger her da, så er det jo lettvint å lage et par små høl oppe i kanten av dem, så du kan henge dem opp.
Skal det være lokk på boksen, eller?
Altså, det melder historien egentlig ikke noe om, men man kan jo gjøre det. Jeg ser ikke noe problem i det.
Nei.
Nei. Så jeg er ikke helt sikker på, det er...
Altså, så lenge det er dyppet i vann, så er det jo i plasmatisk tilstand.
Ja.
Men, ja.
Men altså, man kan jo legge et lite lokk på for å ikke få masse støv og sånn. Ja.
Kattehår og...
Kattehår og sånn, ja.
Kattehår og sånn. Ja. Hvis man er ute etter medisiner for eksempel, da, som faktisk virker hvis man skal ha veldig gode smertepadder og sånn, så kan man øke styrken på CO2 for eksempel da, med å gjøre det.
Jeg bare øver meg her.
Ja, det er lov. Er det noen spørsmål?
Ja, når du lager dere der boksene med CO3 og CO2-gans, og du sveiser det i metall da, for å få til å nano-coat boksene innvendig og utvendig.
En gang til.
Når du lager dere der boksene med CO3 og CO2,
ja.
Sveiser du de boksene med med kobber for eksempel da? At du lager kobberbokser som du kan nano-coat etterpå, eller?
Nei. Sånn som den grønne boksen her og den røde boksen. Du kan, altså etter min overbevisning kan du jo bruke en gammel colaflaske. Du skal bare nano-coaten, både innvendig og utvendig. Og så putter du i vann, altså renset vann hvor du har CO2-genser i denne boksen her. Og i den grønne boksen da putter du i den gensen som du har lyst til å lage gens av da.
Hva sa du nå helt til slutt der?
I den grønne boksen,
ja.
Da putter du, la oss si du putter 3C-gens i da. Da får du, det du får i bånden her da, det er nede i bånden her, Det blir så et kopi av de 3 og
CH3.
CH3-gansene. Bare de blir kraftigere i styrken nå.
Ja, blir det noe under den boksen til CO2-boksen nå da, eller?
Jeg har ikke prøvd å lage oppsettet enda. Dette her er en av disse godbitene som de har dratt med seg fra konferansen.
Ok.
Jeg har bare prøvd å sveise en pose med en kobbertråd for å se om min idé om hvordan jeg skal lage oppsettet personlig, da, hvordan det er. Men du kan bruke en flaske eller en boks eller...
Ja.
Fri fantasi.
Ja. Hvordan nanocoater du en colaflaske da?
Altså en colaflaske tåler ikke særlig mye varme, så den må du jo bare prøve å se om du kan dampe forsiktig, tenker jeg. Men altså, hvis du ser på Mr. Keshes cola, der hvor han lager den der cola-reaktoren i colaflaska, så er det jo ikke varm kaustikk han putter i den.
Nei.
Så jeg tenker at hvis du gjør det med kald kaustikk etter den måten som man gjør i colaflaskeforsøket sitt, så, og du bruker selvfølgelig litt tålmodighet på å få en ordentlig nanocoating, gir det god tid, så tenker jeg at det også kan brukes.
Ja, og det kan være gavnligt at lægge den ud i solen, fordi solens plasma forstærker processen og gør den bedre.
Ja, da skal han sikkert ha skikkelig bra med tålmodighet. Den er det ikke mye av i Norge akkurat nå.
Og den har vi bare Torbjørn sin overgrep.
Ja. Men Erik, faktisk så skulle det rent teoretisk, hvis det funker med å ha det ut i sollyset, som jeg har hørt veldig mange snakke om, rent teoretisk så skulle det funke ut i nordlyset også. Faktisk, hvis det er skikkelig nordlys ut, og så ta nanocoating av det.
Ja, altså det trænger jo bare et felt at interagere med. Der skal komme en plasma, som interagerer med det, og det er med til at speede nanocoatingen op i hastighed.
Ja, ikke sant?
Ja. Jeg har lige et spørgsmål. Den der kondensator, det er en plasmakondensator, ikke?
Ja.
Ja.
Helt klart.
Det er en helt utrolig dag. Det vælter ind med gode ting.
Ja, det gjør det, ikke sant? Det er en opplysningens dag. Det er som jeg snakket med Peter på chatten før han hoppet inn i klassen her. At it's the day of enlightenment. Og sjelen til skaperen er meget glad, for det er en del mennesker som er i ferd med å forstå og bli opplyst, og gjennom det så eleverer man jo sjelen til både menneskene og alt rundt seg, og så er jo alt vi en del av sjelen til skaperen.
Ja.
Og gjennom det så opphever vi også sjelen til skaperen. Hva man nå velger å kalle det.
Jeg har i alle fall oplevet det her som en ekstremt positiv dag for mig, hvor jeg synes, der er mange ting, der går op, og jeg har haft sådan en meget positiv følelse hele dagen igennem, og det har været dejligt.
Ja. Jeg har en veldig god dag selv. Jeg har vært veldig sliten i dag, men når jeg startet klassen i dag, så rant det bare av meg, så tusen takk skal dere ha alle sammen for at dere har gitt meg energi til å virkelig kunne være med dere. Så jeg har også ikke svart på, jeg har en melding fra Siv Grete, hvor hun har produsert, tror det er hennes første ganser, hvor hun lurer på om det er CO2-ganser eller det kan være noe annet. Men det kan vi ikke se ut ifra bildet.
Nei, men altså, han har skrevet den til meg også, og hva heter det? Det er jo ikke noen, du kan ikke lage to GANs, ikke engang rett ved siden av hverandre, som vil bli helt like, klin like, selv om du tror du har laget helt det samme oppsettet. Så, sånn som man forklarer det, så ser det ut som om man har klart å lage CO2-GANs.
Ja, det gjør det. Men det er jo selvfølgelig vanskelig å si hvilken prosent zink og hvilken prosent CO2 som er i det.
Ja, der er vi tilbake til at det er noen som må lage et eller annet måleapparat som går an å kjøpe for, eller lage selv for normale mennesker, for ellers så må man jo til et eller annet laboratorium, det har noe supert utstyr, tenker jeg.
Men som Peter snakket om da, her i Norge så snakker vi om når vi er å finne vann ute i naturen og sånn. Han snakket om sånne dowsing rods. Og det er jo det vi kaller kvisten da, her i Norge. Hvor du går ut og bryter en kvist, helst av selje eller noe annet mjukt og godt treverk. Hvor du kan føle energifelter og sånn gjennom det, og kvisten beveger seg opp eller ned ettersom energien forandrer seg i jorda. Og på samme måte kan du bruke 2 kobbertråder og gjøre det samme. Holder dem bare, har 2 kobbertråder som du bretter i 90 grader, og så har du ganske lang ende, 30 centimeter, som stikker ut, og så har du en sånn 5-10 centimeter hvor du holder i da. Og da kan du enten holde de direkte i hendene, eller ha dem i sånne kobberhylser. Hvor de da sprer seg utover, eller går innover ettersom energien er da, så kan du faktisk måle dem med det.
Du bruker vel ofte det til å finne vannårer, blant annet?
Ja, det er det jeg mener.
Jeg har brukt for 15-20 år siden i hvert fall, lekte jeg med det litt.
Ja, jeg vet, broren min er ganske dyktig på det, og han har lært av en som var sammen med farmora mi for mange år siden. Og han var jo helt ekstrem, han kunne finne vannårer hvor som helst. Spilte ingen rolle, han kunne bare gå med den kvisten, så var det bare å ta spaden og noen få spadetak, så bare tøyt vannet opp av bakken. Så... Og det er ikke bare vann du kan finne hva du vil. Du kan til og med bruke det å finne gull med. For det er tanken om hva du vil finne, det er intensjonen som Mr. Keshe snakker om, som faktisk er det som bestemmer hva du får ut av det. Her ser dere forsiden til den nye Wikipediaen da. Jeg vet ikke om dere har sett den,
Kult.
Og foreløpig så er den bare på engelsk, men den kommer på alle språk etter hvert da.
Og så her kan du gå inn i kategorier. Og her har vi for eksempel helse. Og så er det underkategorier her, og her er det patches. Og det som... der er det, vet du. Her oppe så er det sånn at man kan... Det er jo helt nytt da, så det er ikke så mye folk må begynne å bruke det før det blir noen diskusjoner for eksempel. Så her kan man jo
gå inn og legge inn en tråd da, og stille et spørsmål, eller hvis man har svar på noe noen har stilt et spørsmål om, så kan man også svare på det. Hvordan? Og det er bare sånn at du uttrykker din måte å gjøre det på. At det er sånn jeg gjør det. Det er ikke noe absolutt, det er ikke noe som er feil da. Det er bare den persons forståelse av det.
Ja, og så det Mr. Keshe ønsker da, det er at man oppfører seg som folken på her i det minste. Ikke...
Vise respekt.
Ja.
Det er det. Og så vet jeg Siv Greta hadde lagt merke til en en liten detalj der hvor vi påstår at man skal ha dioden med minus til den ikke nanokåta-siden, hvor vi har lært at vi skal ha den til den nanokåta-siden. Og jeg vet ikke hva som riktig eller feil av det heller, for det ikke noe som riktig eller feil. Men det jeg vet at dioden jo en direksjon, en retningsgiver til energien som går igjennom tråden. Så kanskje...
Men det hadde jo vært en sånn ting som hadde vært fint å få en liten diskusjon om da.
Hammeren sagde i dag, at retningen af dioden, det var den, der styrede, om det gik stærkt, eller der stort set ikke skete noget.
Ja, ikke sant? Så da kan du jo egentlig se det selv, hvis du prøver.
Ja, det har jeg prøvet. Jeg har sådan et bad stående ned, der ikke har lavet en skid. Når jeg stod i 3 måneder.
Okay. Hvilken har du plus på den nanokåta, eller på...
Jamen, altså, jeg gjorde den her kold caustic-metode i sådan en plastflaske. Og det blev også fint og sort. Ingen problem med det. Det så fint og sort ud. Og så puttede jeg... Nej, den her, den brændte... Lige præcis det her bad, jeg taler om her, det gjorde jeg med firecoating. Ligesom der blev vist i de der basic videos. Men jeg tror, jeg lavede 2 fejl. Dioden vender nok forkert, og så har jeg lavet for stor afstand imellem den der kobberkøjling, der var nede fra låget, nede i vandet, og så zinkpladen. Det 2 fejl, der begået, men nu har jeg lavet det, jeg har set, det ikke virker. Ja, hvis der noget, så det altså ikke ret meget. Så nu har jeg i hvert fald set, hvordan jeg ikke skal gøre.
Ja, men det bra.
Ja, men det kan man jo også blive klogere af, jo. Ja. Det nok lidt sjovere at blive klogere af at se, det virker, men uden modstand, så hvis alting bare går super hele tiden, så tror jeg, der mange ting, som man måske ikke kommer til at forstå, fordi man ikke slog hovedet ind i muren og blev nødt til at tænke sig om.
Litt glad for at du sier det, Erik, for at akkurat nå så jeg på å jobbe med en mageravhenhet som jeg ikke får lampa til å lyse på, faktisk. Så jeg må ha litt hjelp etter hvert, for jeg står og stanger hodet litt i veggen. Så...
Men hvad har du gjort? Hvad har du gjort for at havne der?
Hva sa du nå, Erik? Jeg hørte ikke.
Ja, hvad har du gjort for at det skulle gå sådan?
For at lampa ikke lyser?
Ja, altså, hvad har du gjort ved makroen, siden at det blev sådan, den ikke ville virke?
Ja, tingene som så at det jeg lurer på, det rett og slett om det køylene som jeg har brukt, at de ikke helt funker, fordi at de ble nanokåta for et år siden. Og så har de egentlig bare ligget inn i en plastikkpose, og så for en måned siden så tok jeg og nanokåta dem og realignet dem på nytt, og har brukt dem inn i magraven. Men jeg tror kanskje at hovedproblemet at rett og slett køylene der og det første nanocoatinga på det der, at det har ligget i et år, at det det som kan til at magraven ikke helt funker som den skal. Da.
Har du ganset den, eller hvad har du gjort?
Ja.
Gjorde du også det for et år siden?
Nei, ikke for et år siden, men nå så har jeg ganset dem. For en måneds tid siden så dypper jeg køylene i gans. Og så nå så egentlig har jeg et spørsmål, og det litt grann om hvordan det her kapasitorene nederst skal plasseres. Fordi at det lurer jeg litt grann på. Og ellers så heller akkurat nå på å nanocoate selve de ledningene som skal binde sammen kapasitorene og køylene da, i ovom. For det jeg lurer på akkurat nå, det at jeg har 6 kapasitorer nederst, og 3 av kapasitorene snurret i det man kan kalle for gravretningen, som i min oppfatning blir anti-clockwise, og 3 kapasitorene spunnet i magretningen. Og så lurer jeg litt på hvordan de skal plasseres nedi der. Fordi at, ja, jeg har fått litt forskjellig informasjon egentlig. Så jeg lurer litt på det da.
Måske skulle du prøve, du ved, tyskerne, det nogle meget grundige mennesker, og hvis du søger efter Makro-Bauanleitung på YouTube, så der sådan en meget høj mørkhåret mand, og så en lidt mindre mand med briller og skæg og lidt ældre. Det andet en ung mand, og de viser en masse trin, og hvis du kigger på det, så kan det være, at du kan se, at de gør det på en anden måde, end du har gjort det. Og de har dokumenteret over et helt år, at deres magtgrav virker. Så jeg betragter dem som en pålidelig information, og der kan man se rent grafisk på videoen, det de gør. Og det kunne måske være, fordi det kan jo være mange, som jeg forstår det, kan man gøre rigtig mange ting forkert. Og derfor så kunne det være en måde at simpelthen se den video igennem, hvor de forklarer meget omhyggeligt det, de har gjort for at lave deres makro.
Ja. Kan du sende en link på det?
Jeg skal prøve at søge selv her nu så. Fordi jeg har bare downloadet den, men jeg skal bruge linken, for at du kan få glæde af det. Jeg prøver lige at søge på YouTube.
Det jo helt nydelig. Jeg har et møte med en transcriber, så vi må nesten avslutte litt sånn snart.
Ja, men jeg skal gøre, hvad jeg kan for at gøre det.
Så. Nei, men jeg har skrevet den og sagt ifra at vi litt forsinket. Det har vært en god dag, en god kveld, for det jo...
Du Geir, bare for å ha spurt her nå da, fordi at nå så har jeg plassert 3 av kapasitorene som skal kobles. Ja, nei, det spørs meg bare med å se dere filmen og sjekke ut det, ja. Men 3 av kapasitorene som snurret i gravretningen, eller i anti-clockwise, som det blir min oppfatning til det.
Ja.
De liksom på load-siden, men så står nåla på minus, og så var det noen som og så liksom spørsmålet om den skulle ha vært snudd sånn at det har vært på nålesiden har vært på plussen.
Ja, det går jo alltid inn i nåla og ut av spolen.
Ja.
Ja.
For nå så har jeg på en måte snudd sånn at all nålene går på minus. Altså går på den blå ledningen da. Men kanskje det 3 av kapasitorene som skulle ha vært snudd.
Ja, altså uansett hvordan du kobler det opp, så alt som kommer ut skal inn i nåla, og det skal ut igjen av spolen da. Det skal ikke inn i spolen og ut av nåla, for å si det sånn da.
Ok.
Det har Mr. Keshe spesifisert på i hvert fall en av undervisningene.
Ja, men hvis det skal være sånn da, så må faktisk alle kapasitorene snues andre veien, sånn at minusen hele tiden berører det som kommer ut av nåla.
Ja, det du kaller pluss da, det skal inn i nåla, og da det pluss ut igjen av spolen, og så skal det på minusen igjen på neste, ikke sant? Så nåla egentlig en minus, men du skal jo koble det som du kobler batterier i serie da, ikke sant? Så du tar pluss til minus, pluss til minus, pluss til minus.
Ja.
Ja. Det min oppfatning da. Det må jeg spesifisere. Det min forståelse.
Ja, fordi at når man kobler på rett ifra nett, og så skal jo den minusledningen ifra nett, den blå ledningen ifra nett, skal kobles på 3 kapasitorer, og ja.
Ja, det litt avhengig av hvilken tegning du har brukt på.
Jeg bruker Torbjørns tegning da, med 6 kapasitorer nederst, 3 som går inn fra netten, og 3 som går inn på loaden, men så bindes minusen i hop mellom load og grid, eller load og nett da.
Ja, på alle originale Keshe Foundation tegninger, blueprint, så det jo sånn at maggraven bare koblet på den ene ledningen.
Ja, jeg lurer litt på om jeg skal holde meg til blueprintet, ja.
Ja, jeg skal ikke si at Torbjørn sitt ikke virker, for han har redusert sitt strømforbruk med sine, men han har fått sitt til å virke, og kanskje du må gjøre din egen vri, men blueprintet som gitt ut fra Keshe Foundation, det i hvert fall sånn de har gjort det da. Og de selger offentlig.
Ja.
Men altså, Mr. Keshe, han sier jo også det, han skal ikke ha noen copycats, for at du lærer jo ikke noe av det. Men jeg anbefaler deg å prøve, for det jo det som så fint med en sånn maggrav. Du kan ikke gjøre noe feil.
Nei, ikke sant.
Det blir bare mer eller mindre riktig.
Ja, ikke sant. Ja.
Det helt feil går jo ikke.
Nei.
Og det verste du kan gjøre å blåse en sikring, liksom.
Ja.
Så...
Det ikke så fryktelig farlig.
Nei, det ikke det, vet du.
Nei, det helt sant. Nei, jeg skal forske på dette her og se hvordan det går.
Ja, altså... Jeg vet hvordan jeg koblet min maggrav når jeg hadde en maggrav som jeg hadde lagd, da. Og den... Der lyste i hvert fall lampa, da.
Ja, ikke sant?
Jeg kunne holde i alle ringene på maggraven uten å få strøm.
Ikke sant?
Ja, og jeg kunne ta på det dere kaller kapasitorer, da. Som jeg kaller kondensatorer på norsk.
Ja.
Og du kunne ta på alle de uten at du fikk strøm. Og du kunne ta på ledningen uten at du fikk strøm, så når man har nano-kåt av det skikkelig, så det ikke noe fall i det hele tatt.
Nei. Et spørsmål, du husker ikke tilfeldigvis hva slags nummer på denne Keshe-undervisningen, hvor de snakker om det her med kondensatorer og kapasitorer, og retning på dem og så videre og så videre.
Hvor Mr. Keshe nevnte den retningen, kjære venner, det godt over et år siden.
Ja.
Så det må jeg i så fall få lov til å komme tilbake til, Vegard.
Ja.
Skulle gjerne ha svart deg på det med en gang, men det husker jeg men ikke.
Nei.
Jeg tror det en av 80 something.
Ja, jeg tror det. 87 viser seg å være en veldig fin en, egentlig.
Ja, men det nok litt senere han kom inn og spesifiserte det med hvem som skulle være inn og ut på de kondensatorene.
Ja, det det.
Ja. For når du på 86-87, da du på blueprint-uka, da.
Ja.
Men jeg vil igen sige, hvis du har svært ved at finde det der, så igen hold dig til tyskerne. Dem, som dokumenterer deres arbejde. Fordi, du ved, tyskerne, de blevet lært i skolen programmeret Ordnung muss sein. Og derfor så det nogle af dem, som mest tydelige, når de forklarer noget.
Ja, de ekstremt notorious når det gjelder å gjøre ting etter tegninga, for å si det sånn, da.
Ja, men det kan jo være godt nok, når man sidder i tvivl, ikke?
Jo, det det.
Og, så jeg vil gå på YouTube, og så vil jeg søge efter, hvad jeg kan finde af
plasmakapacitorer fra tysk side, og se de forskellige. Der er jo mange, der har fortalt om det her. Hvad gør den ene, og hvad gør den anden, og hvad gør den tredje, og hvad kan så være det bedste? Eller?
Ja, og hva vil du gjøre i forhold? Men jeg vet at Mr. Keshe spesifiserte det at når det gjelder kondensatorer, så...
Jeg er overbevist om, du vil finde noget, du kan bruge til noget der.
Ja, helt sikkert.
Ja. Jeg skal ta og sjekke det der, sånn at jeg får sett over det og funnet det. Ja, det må jeg bare få gjort. Jeg har søkt opp den linken som du sendte meg. Jeg skal ta og se gjennom den.
Ja, og når du har taget den frem, så kommer YouTube jo med et hav af andre links, der har relation til. Og så kan du jo grave lidt i det. Så hvis du bruger en halv time på at surfe lidt rundt i alle de links der fra det tyske magtgravbyggeri, så tror jeg, du finder noget, du kan blive klogere i.
Ja. Yes, jeg skal ta og sjekke det der.
Så kan jeg bruke anledningen til å anbefale dere å gå inn og se resten av 165 hvis dere ikke har gjort det.
Ja, ikke sant?
Hvis dere ikke så den på torsdag, for det... Ja, det er ikke slutt på godbitene der da, for å si det sånn. Det er mange gode svar på en del spørsmål.
Ja, fantastisk.
Jeg kunne godt lide det der del der, hvor han går og driller armen. Og han ved, selvom han står med ryggen til, han ved lige præcis, hvad Arman han tænker. Og Arman er hans yndlingselev. Han elsker virkelig Arman. Og han ved, hvad Arman tænker, og så står han og smiler.
Ja, han syr ikke putter under armene på ham, for å si det sånn, men han må finne det ut selv.
Ja, men så driller han ham jo også lidt, ikke?
Ja.
You could have been flying 2 years ago. Og jeg tror, Arman han sidder lidt og syder der.
Det er klart det, for det gikk jo opp noen lys for armen i den undervisningen der, for å si det sånn.
Det er jo også lidt brutalt i fuld offentlighed at få at vide, ja, vi flyver her, men du 2 år bagefter. Så sjovt er det jo heller ikke. Men på den anden side er det jo også glædeligt, at nu har du langt om længe for at vide, hvad det var, ikke?
Når vi tenker over det, så Mr. Keshe fikk jo beslaglagt sin flyvende bil i Belgia i hvilket år var det? 2011, tenker jeg. Hvor han... Jeg skal ikke si hvilket år det var, men det er ganske lenge siden. Hvor han ble... Ja, han ble statuert som terrorist og alt mulig rart.
Ja, de bruger jo alle de ufine midler for at lave alle deres forbrydelser.
Ja.
Jeg har et spørsmål.
Kom med det, Geir. Hjertelig velkommen.
Når jeg lager gans, for eksempel CO2-gans, så tar jeg ut det første toppen med saltvann, oppløsningen.
Ja.
Kan jeg bruke det vannet igjen da til å sette ny gans, eller skal jeg bruke nytt destillert vann med salt i?
Skal du svare på den, Eva?
En gang til.
Og så når jeg lager en eller annen gans CO3 eller CO2 eller noe sånt.
Ja.
Og så i første skyllinga så tar jeg ut første toppen med saltvann til å komme ned til gansen. Kan jeg bruke det vannet til å lage ny gans med, samme type gans? Eller må jeg bruke nytt destillert vann med salt i?
Altså, jeg har brukt mitt vann om igjen til den samme typen gans, og det går ganske greit, det. Det eneste man skal huske på, det er at når vannet fordamper, da, så blir saltinnholdet høyere, så man må noen ganger spe på med litt renset vann.
Ok.
Ja, og der er faktisk også på et tidspunkt nogen, der sagde, at det var en fordel at genbruge vandet, fordi feltet var allerede i det. Så derfor gik det stærkere næste gang.
Det var det jeg egentlig ikke spurte om direkte, men ja, som jeg tenkte på.
Kan man egentlig ikke få fat i sådan en flydevægt, der indikerer saltindholdet i noget vand? Du er ligesom man i akkumulator, der kan man jo få sådan en nede i legetøjsbutikken, hvor Eva hun kommer ofte, så man kan putte ned i akkumulatoren, og så kan man måle vægtfylden af syren og se om batteriet er opladet eller ej.
Jo, du får masse sånne måleinstrumenter til saltvannsinnholdet. Det faktisk bare å gå i et sted hvor de selger akvariumutstyr.
Ja, en dyrebutikk, liksom.
Da får du både digitale, og så får du sånn plastikkdingsebunks som du bare putter vann i, og så det en liten nål der viser hvor mye saltinnhold det da. Men selvfølgelig den digitale kanskje litt mer nøyaktig.
Nej, det jeg ikke sikker på. Jeg vil nøjes med den mekaniske. Det ikke rigelig nøjagtigt, tror jeg på.
Ja, jeg har sånn en, og jeg synes den veldig fin.
Ja, for det eneste du trenger å vite hvor mye salt du har i forhold til vann første gangen. Så lager du et merke på den der hvor nåla står. Og så uansett hva det står på den, så vet du at det den prosenten salt du har hatt i, ikke sant?
Ja. Så det bare hælde vand, renset vand på indtil at det passer som det var første gang, så har du det samme igen.
Ja. Så kan det også være en fordel å leke litt med de forskjellige innholdene av salt i vannet, fordi at det gir forskjellige styrkegans da.
Jeg reagerer i hvert fall veldig forskjellig når du sender strøm gjennom det i forhold til hvor mye salt du har i.
Ja, det det ikke noe. Men nu det vel ikke, generelt set det vel ikke ret godt å køre strøm igennem. Det vel bedst å lave det uden strøm, hvis man kan.
Ja, hvis man kan. Man kan også lage plasmabatterier og bruke det som energikilde hvis man skal...
Ja. Fordi det var i hvert fall hva Arman sa i dag, at den aller beste gans, den får du ved at du ikke har brukt de der beholdere, som de fortæller. Men det kræver jo netop, at du har nanokodede magtgravspoler eller plasmakondensator eller plasmabatterier til at gøre det med. Og så det jo hønnen og ægget, ikke? Du skal jo starte et sted.
Ja, sant det.
Det er lavet med direkte feltinteraktion i stedet for plader, der forbundet med elektriske ledninger. Det nummer 1. Ja, det tror jeg på.
Jeg sitter her og ser papirene mine som jeg husker jeg har skrivet med en om de der kondensatorer der, og han jeg har skrevet med var den 15.3. Så jeg tenker at hvis dere ser på 102, 103, 104 der omkring av de offentlige workshops, så kanskje dere finner den med kondensatoren. Jeg tenker det enten i februar eller i starten av mars for 2016. Så.
Ok. Leon, han orker ikke vente lenger, han var sliten.
Ja.
Han har transkribe masse i dag, så jeg får møte den i morgen i stedet.
Ja. Og så vet jeg det at det var ikke bare akkurat på den tiden, da var det ikke bare de offentlige workshopene, da hadde vi også den internasjonale workshopen. Og i februar det 3, 4, 5 og 6, og i mars det 7 og 8 man kan se på.
Ja.
Så det fra 99 til 104 av workshopen nå. Så det bare å leite på, gutter.
Ja, uansett bør alle ses gjennom.
Ja.
Det jo gode ting i alle sammen. Det liksom ikke noe som Mr. Keshe har gjort som ikke inneholder en eller annen opplysning som vi faktisk trenger i det.
Ja, men nå det innsnevret litt grann da, til februar-mars for 2016.
Ja.
Så blir det litt lettere å finne.
Ja, vi skal tenke på det. Hvis vi tenker på det tidspunktet, så det mer sannsynlig at det var i februar enn i mars.
Ja, men jeg tror det også at det var i februar.
Så når var det jeg var ute og fløy, holdt jeg på å si?
Ja, men det var der omkring.
Ja, det var i mars.
Jeg vurderer om jeg skal lage meg en sånn kartotek over tekstinga på workshopene. Så kan det gå an å søke etter ord, og så kan man se hva som blir sagt på de forskjellige setningene eller avsnittene.
Ja, det allerede på trappene til å komme.
Ja.
Og det også foreslått av Erik at det kan være en god idé, da.
Det blir jo akkurat som å lese en bok, egentlig.
Ja. Nei da, og det mange med dere igjen også som synes dette her, og det i ferd med å komme, men vi har mye å gjøre i The Foundation, og så lenge ingen flere kommer til og hjelper til med arbeidet, så det mye å gjøre.
Og det man må ha for å kunne søke sånn, det tekster, undertekster på...
For det jo det som basisen. For hvis ikke teksten der, så har dere ikke noe å søke i.
Nei. Så det bare å komme i gang med tekstet, da, vet du. Så kommer boka.
Så vi har allerede masse mennesker som kan lage databasen og søkemotoren og alt det der. Men problemet det at de har ikke noe å lage det av før teksten der. Så det jo det. Og det viktig at teksten riktig også, ikke sant? Så hjelper ikke hva du søker på. Så det en god idé, og det på trappene, og det kan hende vi trenger hjelp med det. For å si det sånn. Ganske sikkert så trenger vi det.
Og alle ble stille.
Ja, men
jeg vet at du, Geir, i ferd med å starte opp og hjelpe til. Marie, som har forlatt møtet, hun allerede i gang, og Siv Grete i gang. Og det ikke så mange andre å be om hjelp i klassen, da. For Erik har sine ting å stri med, og jeg og Eva, vi i gang.
Ja, vi jobber i døgndrift, så...
Mangler egentlig ikke på innsatsen til de norske elevene. Det som heller mangler litt grann flere norske elever, da.
Det jo der det viktigt, at man prøver på at påvirke sin omgangskreds og få nogle flere med ind. I det mindste bare i det offentlige. For tænk hvis der kom så mange studerende på den offentlige undervisning, at de kunne løfte byrden med transcribing af de offentlige workshops, så kunne privateleverne fokusere på at transcribe den private undervisning. Men sådan det jo ikke i dag. Alle kræfterne bliver brugt på den offentlige undervisning. Der kun ganske få, der arbejder på de private. Og ja, der ligger hundredvis af videoer, der venter på at blive transcribet.
Ja,
500 så noget i den retning, ikke?
Cirka 6.000.
6.000?
Ja. Så du har lidt at vælge.
Så til gengæld giver det sig frit valg på alle hylder, kan jeg forstå.
Ja, gjør det. Så det nok arbeidstimer. Det mangler ikke på det. Det mer det at ja, akkurat nå så det vi som sitter og transcriber det offentlige. Vi transcriber også det private, og vi transcriber helse og ja.
Ja, og ved siden av det så har vi mange andre oppgaver også. Så.
Ja, og ved siden av det igjen så skal vi også oversette de forskjellige språkene. Så. Det derfor vi bare har muligheten til å kjøre auto-oversetting av de offentlige undervisningen nå, for jeg har ikke tid til å sitte og oversette. Det egentlig bare jeg og Marie som har muligheten til å oversette da, foreløpig.
Men det jo heller ikke fysisk mulig da, når du tenker på hvor lang tid det tar å få noen år at den ferdig et par dager. Altså, som jeg ser nå da, så den jo, nå den ferdig, helt ferdig, ikke sant? Mer eller mindre. Den fra sist torsdag.
Ja.
Og det jo, hvis det bare litt grann teknisk uheld, sånn at de må bruke litt tid på å rette dem og sånn før de får den lastet opp, så tar det lengre tid før vi får filmen, så vi kan starte I det hele tatt.
Ja, det jo det som problemet litt nå da. Vi fikk jo ikke filmen før på lørdagsmorgen og sånt.
Nei, og så tar det jo virkelig mange timer å få det over på engelsk tekst og få det limt sammen og hele den pakka der, og så skal man til å oversette det på norsk. Det jo ikke, altså det ikke fysiologisk mulig hvis man bare 2 stykker. Det skjer ikke da.
Gjør ikke det.
Nei. Du bare menneske enda, vet du.
Ja, jeg det. Jeg har merket det de siste dagene, at det har vært litt sånn tungt. Til og med I dag hadde jeg problemer med å stå opp, men jeg hadde 9,5 timer søvn.
Men det noe som går akkurat nå, at det litt tungt? Det noe som felles for alle med en viss åndelig oppvåkning, eller?
Ja, det nok en viss tendens til det også.
Ja, for at det utrolig mye søvn man trenger for tida.
Det det.
Ja, det snålt. Det helt merkelig.
Takk, det jeg oppdaget også. Jeg synes det var merkelig selv.
Ja, det litt merkelig. Og så det at tidligere I år, I februar I år, så arrangerte jeg et foredrag med Audun Mysja her I Namsos. Og jeg jobbet I en hel måned med å få folk til å komme, og det kom jo faktisk en del folk da, men uansett så satt jeg og følte under hele prosessen. Jeg visste at det jeg gjorde var sjelelig og åndelig bra og alt det der, og det var så mye motstand I arbeidet. Det var så merkelig, altså. Og andre ting, og jeg driver og arrangerer mye foredrag og sånn, så merker jeg veldig ofte at det en del motstand som har vært I 2017.
Ja, det riktig. Det har vært.
Så jeg tror det en sånn greie med at vi skal komme litt tilbake in tune I oss selv. Husk at vi kanskje bare mennesker. At det en fin ting egentlig. At vi ikke skal, ja, at vi må bare lære oss å bruke tida til å være oss selv uansett. For vi får ikke til å sette noen bevegelse foruten at vi I balanse med oss selv. Så jeg tror det en bra ting også, at vi blir holdt litt tilbake.
Ja, det det. Og nå skriver Caroline akkurat, kona til Mr. Keshe, skriver akkurat litt om det der med balanse. For the peace on earth isn't only that wars are going to stop. No, the peace will come if we start balancing our own homes with our partners and children to remove the fear and pain that is no longer serving nobody.
Ja, ikke sant.
Snakker om timing.
Ja.
Men der sker jo også en masse I øjeblikket. Faktisk CIA jo verdens største narkoproducent og distributør. Og dem går de efter blodet nu. Sidste uge der beslaglagde de 16 tons kokain fra CIA.
Ja.
Og Obama blevet anholdt med narkotika I store mængder, og Michelle Obama blevet anholdt med narkotika I store mængder. Så det da en forandring, der vil noget.
Det det. Det sant det, men det jo ikke egentlig noe nytt da. Dette har vi jo egentlig.
Og det bedste ved det her narkotika formålet med de 16 ton kokain, de skulle finansiere ISIS ned I Syrien. Så det vil sige, nu når narkotikaen bliver beslaglagt, så bliver der færre raketter til alle de der psykopater, der render rundt dernede. Og så kan det være, at de ender med, at de får nogle bøllebanker og bliver stoppet, så der kan blive ro dernede, fordi det en ødelæggelse, der I Syrien. Den jo uden for menneskelig fatteevne. Har I set billeder fra Aleppo for eksempel? Det ser forfærdeligt ud. Det ligesom Dresden efter de tæppebombede den I 2. verdenskrig.
Det sant det.
De syrerne har haft det forfærdeligt I 6 år.
Ja, det bra at det holder på å rette seg opp nå, da, den energibalansen.
Ja.
For det har jo vært helt sinnssykt, egentlig.
Ja, det mye som skjer. Mye som skjer. Det det. Vi kan være glad vi holder på med det vi holder på med, for det I hvert fall I den riktige the right conduct som man snakker om, den riktige oppførselen, den riktige måten å gjøre ting på.
Det trekker den riktige vei.
Ja, det gjør det. Og jo flere vi som gjør det, jo bedre det.
Ja.
Så du skal vite det at en maglev ikke bare en elektrisitetsdings. Det det minste av det den egentlig Så...
Artig at du nevner akkurat det, for jeg har en veldig sånn god forbindelse med det åndelige og det indre og så videre og så videre. Men jeg har ennå ikke liksom suttet att med min egen maggravenhet som produserer den plasmaen som jeg har laget gansen til, skal jeg si.
Ja, og som du har lagt din kjærlighet og dine intensjoner I, ikke sant?
Ikke sant. Så det må jeg si, jeg gleder meg veldig til å få oppleve den plasmaeffekten, egentlig.
Skal du vite at den gleder seg den også.
Ja. Så...
Du skal vite det at det ikke bare, du lager ikke bare en ting. Du lager noe som har sjel, og det et bilde av din egen sjel.
Ja, ikke sant?
Det Carolina og Mr. Keshe sine egne ord.
Ja. Men de driver jo og snakker jo om at det kun snakk om tid før at man kan bruke det her plasmafeltet til å produsere materie, da.
Ja, det Peter som var på besøk I klassen I dag, han gjør jo det med sine 2 kulereaktorer.
Ja, men hvad det også, når du har dit gansbad? Hvad det så, du gør?
Ja, hva det du gjør?
Det har du jo allerede selv gjort.
Ja,
Det du jo bare skal til at gøre nu, I min forståelse, det at du skal til at studere det der periodiske system og se på, hvad atomvægtene hister her, og hvad vil jeg gerne lave, og hvad stoffer skal jeg putte I min reaktor for at få ikke CO2, men noget andet. Du kan prøve at se på, hvordan beregningerne for CO2 og CH3 og alt det der, og så kan du prøve at kigge på, hvad du gerne vil have, og hvad du så kan bruge af materialer til at opnå det med.
Det du gjør, Erik, det å produsere plasma. Og hvis du skal produsere materie, for det du gjør å produsere plasma fra materie. Så det du må gjøre å reversere prosessen.
Og hva det vi akkurat har sett gjennom I dag, gutter?
I dag har vi sett gjennom hvordan man skaper materie.
Ja, fordi hvis dere tar og kjører gjennom den biten hvor han forklarer om hva Dr. Roderico han egentlig har gjort, så tror jeg det en lyspære eller 2 den blir tent.
Ja. Det vil man alltid håpe på.
Ja, men han har jo egentlig han har jo laget materie da.
Ja.
Han har produsert materie ut ifra den kroppen til det mennesket som har den brystkreften, så har de produsert kalsium ved å lage kalsiumstyrke padder og bruke på brystet. Så det som kommer ut av den kreftsvulsten og det brystet, det kalsium. For det som årsaken til akkurat den brystkreften.
Ja.
Så de har allerede reversert prosessen og produsert materie ut ifra den menneskekroppen, og det kan du gjøre, være seg det gull eller hva du vil, da.
Ja.
Og Arman, han sagde I dag, at når du nu har din bil, hvis du laver det rigtige I din udstødning, så kommer der diamanter ud af den.
Ja, det riktig, det.
Men sånn bare en strøtanke jeg har da, hvis du tenker over hva det I for eksempel havvann da.
I hvad?
Vann fra havet.
Ja, der alting jo.
Ja, så du setter padder på den, bruker ideen, altså bruker din basic viten fra det doktor Aderico har gjort, og bruker havvannet, hva kan du få ut av det da?
Ja, alt.
Ja, ikke sant?
Vegard?
Ja.
Den strømforsyningen som jeg viste deg tidligere, den har jeg fått og prøvd, og den fungerer.
Ok, det den som...
Den som var 0 til 30 volt og 0 til 3 ampere.
Har du sendt meg en link på det, eller?
Ja, det vel en halvannen måned siden, tror jeg vi snakket sammen på Messenger.
Ok.
Jeg kan sende deg på nytt.
Ja, jeg gjør det. Supert. Flott. Et spørsmål. Han Peter der da, som produserte materie med det du kalte for en kulereaktor, det samme som en maggrav, eller?
Ja, det i stedet for en maggrav, så det roterende baller.
Ok, hvordan lager man en kulereaktor da?
1, 2, 3, ferdig.
Ja, men det kan lages på mange måter.
Du kan bruke PC-vifter, for eksempel.
Ja. Akkurat nå har jeg en star formation av sånne til å stå og snurre. Så. Og den veldig morsomt å stikke hendene i nærheten av. Jeg har basen på de 3 i basen, og da har jeg 3 forskjellige hemoglobin-type gans, og så i den som i toppen da. Den det CO3, men det jeg har gjort å snudd hele greia på hodet da. Så den reaktoren som skal være i toppen sitter egentlig ned mot jorda da.
Okay. Det noen linker på hvordan man bygger en sånn kulereaktor?
Jeg helt sikker på det, finner du også på YouTube.
Ja.
Men altså, i teorien så tar det jo bare, du kan ta en bordtennisball, nanocoaten, putte ganse, limen fast på en PC-vifte.
Mener du at det bare en ball som ruller?
Nei, altså den limt den fast på en PC-vifte.
Ok, og så roterer PC-vifta?
Ja.
Ok. Ja. Det har vært veldig artig å få sett noen beskrivelser av akkurat en sånn kulereaktor.
Skal vi se. Jeg må se. Skal vi se. I just have to. Ok. Der. Det dette med 2 skjermer. Det ikke alltid så lett. Skal vi se. Hva heter denne her da? Det vel... Vent litt, så skal jeg share screen her in a second. Jeg må bare sørge for at... Der har vi dere. Hva ser dere nå?
Nå ser vi reaktorboksen din.
Ok.
Det en retvendt, eller står den? Den retvendt, det ser ut som om det hele hænger.
Ja, men det fordi at jeg hengte meg opp i gummistrikker, fordi at da holder PC-vifta lenger.
Vegard, da la jeg ut linken til deg på chatten der.
Flotters, takk.
Så dem som jeg har i toppen da, det egentlig dem man bruker å ha i bånd. Det bare fordi at jeg litt omvendt, så jeg måtte bare prøve det. Så dem har jeg 3 forskjellige hemoglobin ganser, og i den i bånden har jeg CO3. Ja, så bare forsøker jeg å lage det.
Jeg puser igen til lige den.
Ja da.
Så hun sætter nær den?
Ja. Det hender jeg prøver å ligge opp på boksen.
Ja.
Men nå har jeg laget det i en boks da, fordi at jeg har hatt et oppsett med bare de 3 der, som har stått på et bord. Og dem har jeg hatt lenge. Men det ble veldig støvete da, så det var derfor jeg puttet det inn i en plastikkboks. For å slippe å få masse støv i hele greia.
Ja. Ja, det var flittig.
Ja.
Det skal være sikkert. Yes da. Men
han godeste Peter der da, hva slags type materie var det som han dannet seg i den kulereaktoren hans?
Nei, ikke i. Du danner seg utenfor.
Ok.
Materie i løse lufta.
Ok.
Så det samler den opp på en plate mellom reaktorene.
Ja.
Og han har hatt det til analyse, og jeg husker ikke alle materialene, men det er noe sink, og det er noe kobber, og det er noe nikkel, så det var litt forskjellige ting som kom der. Og nå har han fått i oppdrag av Mr. Keshe å lage gull.
Oi.
Ja, fordi at det er det alle så her grådige menneskene vil se da.
Ja.
Og derfor så fikk han beskjed om å lage gull da.
Ja, han ville egentlig heller ha laget noe annet. Det var lettere for ham å måle seg til hjemme selv hva det var han hadde med.
Ja. Så...
Mr. Keshe sa det skulle helst være noe shiny.
Ja. Han er også en flittig by. Jo, det var noe titan og sånn der også, så det var noen verdifulle materialer der også da. Men for oss er jo kobber det mest verdifulle akkurat i øyeblikket.
Men der er en ting, de siger, der ikke er helt rigtigt. I hvert fald ikke så længe vi har brug for computere. Det er, at man bruger guld, når man producerer de her computerchips. Fordi det er guldtrådet, der forbinder de yderben med chippen inde midt i plastik eller keramikdimsen.
Ja.
Og der bruger man rigtig meget guld. Så på den sæt, der er det rigtige, fordi at det er inaktivt, og det er pålidelig forbindelse.
Mm.
Så du kan ikke erstatte det med andre materialer.
Nei, ikke hvis du skal ha en hurtig computer, da.
Nej.
Det jeg kunne se, det kunne være veldig spennende å prøve så, det var å lage en reaktor av gull. Da.
Ja.
Ja. Men kan man ikke godt... Hvad sker der, hvis nu jeg tænker, hvis nu jeg har det der sat op fra Brett med 3 makroafkolds, ja, fuldstændig som han fortalte i fredags. Og så jeg tager noget af min sølvtråd, som er certificeret rent sølv, og putter det i sådan en vakuumpose, så ned i det der glas saltvand ind i midten. Nu laver jeg sølvgans, ikke sandt?
Mm-hmm. Ja.
Og hvis jeg så tager det sølvgans, jeg har produceret, og putter i en plastikpose, så i samme opsætning en gang til.
Ja, for eksempel. Jeg vil ikke si du lager sølvgans, jeg vil si du lager gans med styrke av sølv.
Ja.
Ja.
Så er det vel udgangspunktet for nogle mere reaktor, som så kan producere sølv efterfølgende.
Det kan være.
Informationen af sølv, ikke? Nu bliver der tegnet.
Ja, men det er bare Eva, der synes det er uretfærdigt for de andre å ikke vite hva det er du snakker om. Det er det Erik snakker om, det oppsettet han snakker om, er bare 3 sånne medical coils som satt som en base akkurat. Som...
Ja, de ikke medical, de 90 graders power coils.
Ja, men altså, det det. Så...
Ja, det annet koblingsskjema.
Ja. Du får forklare hvordan de koblet da.
Ja, de koblet som en vanlig maglev. Og så de satt i serie pluss til minus, pluss til minus, pluss til minus. Akkurat som en vanlig.
Og så har man bare drejet den inderste coil 120 eller 90 grader, sådan så at de sidder ligesom på overfladen af en bilslange.
Ja, og så i midten har han satt en kopp med vann, med saltvann, og en sinkplate.
Ja, en pose med en sinkplate, ja.
Ja. Og så, når du så har de 3 magtdragspoler, så der den ene, nu kan jeg ikke huske, om det var plus eller minus, for jeg tror egentlig, det ligegyldigt. En af de 2 spoler, eller en af de 2 ledninger, der kommer ud af de 3 magtdragsspoler, der samlet, den sætter du ind i din stikkontakt på live, den der lyser med en skruetrækker. Og så i den anden ende, der kan du sætte en kobberplade eller en aluminiumsplade eller et eller andet, som virker som en belastning for kredsen, for det her det et åbent kredsløb. Og i dag så sagde Armand til mig, at hvis jeg bruger en nano-coated kobberplade og lægger den ned på jorden, så kommer der rigtig meget tryk på det der.
Ja, ikke sant.
Og så kan du producere ganske et tempo, som du ellers ikke vil kunne. Og fordelen ved det er, at hvis du vakuumpakker sådan en metalplade og putter ned i glasset, så får du en meget ren gans i en stærk styrke.
Ja, det godt.
Det jo en god grunn til å gå og se på den der reaktorgruppa fra i dag tidlig da. Men jeg tenker at vi må runde, fordi at det snart en ny arbeidsdag.
Ja, vi har det. Snart, jeg ikke ferdig med min arbeidsdag ennå. Jeg må levere 3 biter med transcribing her før jeg legger meg.
Hvor stor avstand det mellom de spolene, skal jeg til å si?
Det kan du velge.
Men altså, jeg tror, at den han havde, den var cirka 30-35 cm i diameter. Ja. Og så havde han så 3 udskæringer radialt ude fra midten. Der havde han så ude i kanten udskæringen til den der spole, som du har drejet 90 grader.
Ja, så man bare kunne slippe den ned i sprekken, liksom.
Ja.
Jeg spurte ikke om plata hans var nano-coated, men hvis han hadde gjort det, så kan han ha fått et resultat.
Han brugte jo bare en computerblæser som belastning.
Ja.
Du skal bare have en masse, og du kan i princippet bruge hvad som helst. Men det, som Armand sagde, det er, det, der gav allermest resultat, det var en nano-coated kobberplade, der lå ned på jorden.
Ja.
Det vil give maksimalt knald på. Så jeg ved ikke, hvor lang tid man skal lade det stå, før man hører et glas gans, der er fyldt op, men jeg kunne forestille mig, at det gik stærkt.
Ja, det var bredt sa, han snakket om 6 dager, så var det fullt i glasset.
Ja. Hvis så du bruger en nano-coated plade ned på jorden, så skulle det ikke undre mig, at den kunne gøre det på en dag.
Nej, det nettopp det. Men det gjenstår.
Var det fra den linken som lagt ut i stad?
Det var en privat undervisning. Men på reaktorgruppen, den jo offentligt tilgængelig på YouTube.
Ja, Eva har lagt ut linken, ligger i chatten.
Ja, det der du kan se det. Eller få vite det.
Og det der det blevet gennemgået i dag. Så hvis du tager reaktor, og den jeg har lige downloadet den for et øjeblik siden, eller inden undervisningen her, så downloader jeg, så den ligger på YouTube. Og hvis Eva har lagt linket, så det bare at hente den, så kan du også se det.
Ja, så jeg får hente den nå, da, for jeg nødt for å lukke møtet, for vi snart over 4 timer.
Så når jeg har satt den på igjen, så det den nederste linken.
Så vil jeg bare si tusen takk til dere alle sammen for en riktig god undervisningskveld. Og hjertelig takk for at dere kom til den norske offentlige undervisningen fra Keshe Foundation. I dag, onsdag den 5. april 2017, med nyheter og undervisning fra den offentlige engelske workshopen nummer 165 fra 30. mars. Og host budbringer Willy Østli og co-host budbringer Eva Krarup.
Stort takk til vores dygtige lærere.
Vi bare budbringere, vet du.
Ja, men de stadigvæk dygtige.
Tusen takk, Erik.